Let it breathe. Oh, let it breathe.
Whisper words of cheeses. Let it breathe.
Wow, that was beautiful.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, you are. Can one of the mods time out Comix Division for that joke for 300 seconds, please? Jesus Christ. All right. What is up, everybody? Do it live. Sorry, this is late. I've been having connectivity issues going on with my mental issues all day today. So, hey, we're here, we're live, and we have guests. This is Friday Night Tights. This is the Nerderotic channel. I am from nerderotic.com, and our guests are Comix Division. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Gary?
I'm great. We also have JosiahRises.
What's up? What's up?
Good Christian white boy right there. And then we got another good Christian white boy from somewhere down in Louisiana. Are you in Louisiana, or are you back home, or are you still traveling?
Back home. Thank God.
Odin's movie blog.
Howdy.
What's up? Oh, so I'm assuming all of you have seen Avengers Endgame.
No, not.
Is that like a new movie that's out right now or something? Or
no?
Is that a type of cheese like Brie?
It is. It is. Well, I actually like Brie the cheese. I don't like Brie the person. No. Yeah.
Brie Larson, isn't that a stinky kind of cheese?
Well, like Limburger. Yeah. There's so many jokes right there. I'm not going to even touch. It's early in the show. Maybe if it's later in the show. Hail! Oh my God! Hail Nerderotic's catty Comix Division.
Oh, Truth Apocalypse.
What's up, DJ D Show? Thank you for the $1 donation. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so just to warn everybody, there's going to be spoilers ahead. All right, so if you don't want to be spoiled on Avengers Endgame, you might want to wait to watch this until after you've seen the film. But I'm guessing a lot of people have seen the film. A lot of people are saying, "Hail Odin." That is good. I'm happy to have you guys here. I really am. Sorry it was such a mess to begin with. But yeah, what I would like to talk about tonight, because I'm guessing the most of the night is going to be talking about Avengers Endgame, is, first of all, I want to hear what you guys thought of it. And then I kind of want to get all your takes, because people have heard mine for 3 hours, on basically what do you think the direction is going forward. So I mean, pretty simple stuff. So let's start with we'll start with the catty Comix Division.
All right. Overall, I did feel that it was a satisfying ending to the MCU, because it is, in my opinion. I liked it. There's some stuff I thought was kind of mucked up. The time travel stuff, I do think was a bit cliche, and I felt that they broke a lot of the rules that they tried to establish, which, that kind of pulled me out of the movie a couple times. But man, oh man, that last hour was pretty damn awesome, especially when you see Captain America with Thor's hammer beating the shit out of Thanos. That was fucking epic.
Yes.
But other than that, one of my other complaints with it is the first hour. I don't know if that's going to age well, mainly because of they have to go and establish everything. I felt that part did kind of drag for me. So on repeat viewings, I don't know if that's going to hold up. I might just skip to where things start getting interesting.
That was kind of my thoughts too. Especially seeing it twice. I don't know. It wasn't too bad seeing it twice in one day, but I got you on that one. I feel you. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff they could have cut out of this movie to bring it down to maybe 2.5 hours. The other thing that I really liked, I think it was pretty awesome to see Professor Hulk. I know a lot of people they like the Jekyll and Hyde Hulk. I always liked the Smart Hulk, so it was cool to see that.
Mm-hmm. I call him Hipster Hulk.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it. The other thing too, there was a lot of happenstance that happened, like how they pulled Scott out of the quantum verse. Yeah, with the rat running across the control panel and activating it, that was like really freaking convenient. They could have done that a bit better. There was a lot of kind of Deus Ex Machina that has taken place in the film. Obviously in the form of Captain Marvel, when she went and destroyed Thanos' ship, that I found to be rather underwhelming, mainly because it took away from the tension of what was going on in that scene. She didn't ruin the movie for me, but every scene she was in, I thought was pretty terrible. The other thing too is, well, we got Carl Manverse.
Yeah.
And as far as the future of the MCU is concerned, we're getting all new, all different. I did a video talking about this, but everything that they set up, they set up what was going on with 5 years ago after the Incursion Crisis, where basically Marvel kind of retired a bunch of their, white male characters and replaced them with their quote unquote diversity hires. And that's kind of what we got. We're going to get Falcon Cap, which kind of irritates me. I'd rather have him just stay as Falcon. And we're pretty much, I'm not going to state my reputation up, but I'm going to, that we are probably going to get a female Thor as well. So
without a doubt. It's coming. I don't think there's any doubt about that at all. That haircut, everything they've been saying, what happened in Marvel Comics, that one scene towards the end, the A4 scene, that it's absolutely coming. So if yeah, there's still people who have their doubts. I've been hearing about it all morning. I'm sure you guys have too. But and that's the biggest bummer about this whole thing. So so what did you think, Josiah?
Yeah, I kind of agree with comics a little bit. There was definitely some the first half of the film, I had a really hard time getting on board with it. I had a really hard time really getting behind what the Russo brothers were doing, especially with the time travel stuff. And it was kind of jarring, and it felt kind of weird to me. It just like, this doesn't feel Marvel-ish to me at all. But then as they started to kind of show more like scenes that were kind of like homage to different scenes from the past and stuff, I thought that was really cool. I really liked the second half of the movie. For me, was just amazing. I thought that the second half was incredible. It was pretty much everything I could have asked for the movie. And it definitely made up for the first half for me. But I kind of want to see the film again. I've only seen it once so far, but I really want to see it again to see if on a second viewing how I feel about the first half. But overall, I really enjoyed what they did with the film. And I thought that a lot of the stuff that they did, especially towards the end in the third act, was fantastic. I thought that stuff was really, really well done. And the fact that Thanos punched Captain Marvel right out of the sky,
that was great.
Captain America using Mjolnir was the best moment of the entire movie for me. And I love that movie so much. Pretty much everything. After everyone showed up at the end, all the characters that had been snapped, after that moment, I pretty much just lost it for the rest of the movie, and I was just in tears for the rest of the movie. It was so powerful to me. So yeah, like I said, the first half, I had a really hard time getting on board with the first half of the film. So I'm gonna watch it again, see what I think about it again and stuff, and see if my opinions change on that. But for now, that's kind of how I feel about the movie in general, I guess.
Brilliant. And yeah, listen, for me, there was a lot of enjoyable stuff in it, but I wanted to hear from the two film connoisseurs. And Odin, you are a film connoisseur, my friend. What did you think of the film? I know what you DM'd me, but tell the folks what you.
I did not like it. I was not a fan. Not a fan at all.
All right,
I'm
unsubbing from Odin right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Everybody unsub from
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Odin has a different opinion. I must unsub. Oh, it was so funny to see all that happen too, because I woke up in the
Bearded
morning.
man bad. Bearded man bad.
And I had like over 250 dislikes on the video, and I was seeing a bunch of people, I'm unsubbing. Oh my goodness, out there. And I was like, oh God, really? So I just actually got off a 3-hour stream where for the most of it, we talked about and I actually ended up converting a couple of people just because, to me, the time travel nonsense was not only lazy, but it freaking broke the story too. Because now you've got all of these alternate so-called timelines going on, right? Because the whole concept is you go back in time and it's not your timeline anymore. It's a brand new timeline.
Yeah, I have a theory on why they did that.
Well, and basically someone towards the end, I think it was Orange Hat Reviews, who's in the chat right now, says that they're going to try to use this to build to eventually Secret Wars, where apparently that's a plot point of multiple timelines coming together or something. I could be wrong on that.
Well,
but
it's more the multiverse, but I think they're going to use that as justification for sending a lot more stuff in the past, like they said they were going to do.
Yeah, which
I
just think is
fan
lazy.
of them bringing in the multiverse, to be completely honest. I don't know.
Yeah, it's way too many plot holes, and that's why overall I couldn't like the film. Are there moments of greatness? Sure, but just like a giant turd that has 3 diamonds in it, it's still a giant turd with 3 diamonds in it. And so for me, it was so hard for me to get into the movie because of that reason, because there were just so many bad plot elements to it. I felt like it reminded me a lot of The Last Jedi. Now, I think The Last Jedi is significantly worse as a film, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But it reminded me a lot as far as it tried to subvert your expectations. And it did so by sacrificing the plot, sacrificing the characters. Isn't it interesting that the 2 most powerful characters who happen to be men are cucked? You know, Hulk is turned into a freaking hipster, and Thor becomes Fat Thor for some damn reason. And then it's just seriously like every single thing. It just seemed that they were doing it for a reason, for an agenda. And they all did it by being very lazy in their storytelling and story writing. And I just didn't like it. I just did not like it.
I have a very different reaction to that than you did, Odin. I actually enjoyed the drastic changes that they made to the characters because, I mean, it was coming right after the snap, which was like the biggest, most detrimental thing that ever happened to the MCU. And I could understand like why these characters would change so dramatically after that. So I have a different thought about that than you do, but I totally get where you're coming from as well. So yeah.
Also, I love this chat, and I got to give a huge shout out to Gary because you have one of the best chats in the world, because I'm seeing mixed all over the place. Some people love it, some people hate it, and that's the point. All of us can come together, have differing opinions, and still have respect for each other. Though I love hearing all of the Lebowski Thor and fat F Thor. And just it's great.
That killed me, man. That really did kill me. There's 2 characters I felt that were horribly disrespected in the movie. Thor being one of them, and Peter Quill being the other.
Yeah, Peter Quill. Oh my God! Somebody put. I forgot. It was. Oh, I'll remember your name. Forgive me. You're probably in the chat. Somebody put it so well. They gave me a super chat last night, and they said the only reason they took out my thought was at first they took away the Gamora Peter Quill relationship because they didn't want to put relationships in the film, period. They want to take these completely out of Marvel films, and that might be so they can avoid the whole gay thing. Now, but somebody put it even better. They said that they took Gamora and Quill's relationship away so he's the submissive now, and she's the one in charge, and he'll be the little puppy dog in love, and she'll be kicking him in the balls and calling him stupid and an idiot for an entire movie. And I can totally see that happening.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2016, wasn't that an entire movie of it, of just a dumb guy? And you know, that's an interesting take, Odin, of taking away. They probably felt like, listen, there was a good reason. Thor being broken was good. They led up to that. They absolutely destroyed him. It wasn't just the snap, of course. It was Ragnarok and everything else. But then at the end, you build him up. And the flabby thing was probably a sight gag that they stuck with. And, you know, that might be the drawback of having a couple people who are just comedy first, which is fine. That's got you this far. But I definitely did not like freaking Lebowski Thor. I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
And that's an interesting take that they took away Hulk, because I didn't think about it much, but we didn't see Hulk get to have his resolution was just like, I made peace with myself. He still had Thanos had an ass whooping owed to him by Hulk, and we didn't really get that.
That's very true.
That's a good point.
So, we still had some toxic masculinity. We had Cap being pretty toxic and masculine, and Tony being masculine in the beginning when he's all emaciated and calling Cap a liar and stuff. That was great. That was like, was he eating that scene up?
Yeah.
So, there was still a lot of good in this, but here's what's going to happen, folks. We can mark this day down. So go look at your IO9s and your Mary Sues and whoever, comicbook.coms, and they're just loving the crap out of this movie. In about 3 years, you're going to get an article saying the MCU is just not as good as you remember. Here's top 10 reasons why the MCU is not as good as you remember. And these are going to be the things that Odin's bringing up right now, that Comix is bringing up right now. If Josiah has any gripes, and like I have gripes about the movie, I still enjoyed the vast majority of it. Getting to the big melee scene, which is I've been waiting 10 movies for that.
Mhm.
I think the whole heist thing could have been done well, but you have to be a very talented director to pull off a good heist movie. It's not that easy. Steven Soderbergh is one, Ocean's 11. I would have just watched Ocean's 11, either version, and you could have gotten a good little heist film and had it fun and quick. But yeah, and heist films need to be fun and quick. And
I think the Russo brothers probably could have pulled it off if it wasn't for the fact that they were probably under the thumb of Disney and Kevin Feige. I feel like they didn't have as much control over this movie.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think that's why you're going to start seeing a lot more of those indie directors or first-time TV directors, because they have a template. I forgot the girl's name, and props to her, by the way. She was up to direct Captain Marvel, and she wanted to direct the special effects scene, and they're all scenes, and they're all we got that taken care of for you. You just direct the actors. So they have like a template that they use, and they just bring in a director to direct the actors and and some practical scenes, and that's it. And all the effects are done practically by a second unit director, or who knows? I mean, who knows if they have ghost directors? I don't know, but I think you're right. There's not a lot of control. That's probably why an Edgar Wright left, and I would have loved to have seen an Edgar Wright Ant-Man. By the way,
that would have been great. It would have been fantastic.
I do have to agree with Doomcock, though. What they managed to pull off over the last 10 years, I don't see them being able to replicate it, or anybody being able to replicate it. However, I don't think it's perfect movie. I think it's decent. I enjoyed it. It's not a masterpiece in my opinion.
No, but the MCU overall kind of is. I mean,
overall, what they were able to pull off over the last 10 years is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's historic. And I've said that, like, if Kevin Feige, and God, if I was him, I would freaking retire right now, because you would just retire on top. Does he need more money? He could probably go run Warner Brothers right now. They would. Oh God, that'd be great, honestly, if he went to run. And they'll name streets after him. It'll be called Feigewood. But he's going to continue on, unfortunately, down this path that's going to stain his rep, unfortunately.
Yep.
I think it's already kind of done it to me anyway. Just what he's said out loud, but
yeah, and they set it up. I mean, we talked about it just briefly, but that one scene, that one moment that was so heavy-handed that I just out loud went, "Oh my God!" I couldn't keep it in when it was just so heavy-handed, The damn female Avengers nonsense.
Oh God. That was it. That was your A-Force. That was a harbinger of things to come.
This movie definitely felt like they were like, this is pretty much the last thing you will ever get of what you know of the MCU up to this point. From now on, we're moving in a completely different direction now. So,
you know what I want to know from a story perspective? I want to know, how is it that every single character that happens to have a vagina ended up in the same place at the same time for that shot? I was thinking that's amazing to me. That must be drawn together. Like, oh my gosh, we all have the same body parts. It's
the vagina hive mind.
Yeah. The vagina hive mind.
Vagina's in danger, ladies. We must assemble.
Somebody needs
to go assemble. Yeah.
Hoo-ha, assemble.
And look, in isolation, I don't really care too much. If all the females are together and they're all charging forward and stuff. In isolation, I don't care about that much, but the fact that you knew that they set it up exactly for that because they had to get their woke points in with this movie. I mean, that's why it was so cringy. It was because of that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was cool how it showed, like, all the badass females that we've had up to this point in the MCU all standing like that together. But the fact that it was so forced. I just cringed so much at that part in the theater. I was like, this is ridiculous right here.
Yeah,
I have to say,
it made a good point. Their cycles were all linked up.
I think it was pretty damn cool to see Pepper Potts in the rescue armor, though. That's something I've been waiting to see for a while.
Yeah,
it's the scene where they fought as like husband and wife.
That was cool.
Back to back. That was.
Man.
We need more of that. Screw the A-Force scene. How about how about the couples fighting together? Ant-Man and Wasp fighting together. That we need to see a lot more.
Absolutely.
I was saying on the stream earlier, what would have been really cool to see? Not Captain Marvel being all powerful, not Thor being put down as like a shell of a man, but how about Thor and Captain Marvel back to back fighting on equal sides, like on equal terms, on equal footing? That actually I'd be okay with, because guess what? Captain Marvel is not looking they're both looking strong together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to introduce a character correctly, two strong characters, one that everyone loves. And here's the thing. What's the one moment, the one scene that most people can come back to that they remember from Infinity War?
Cap with the hammer.
Infinity War?
In Infinity War?
Oh, sorry. You said Infinity War. I'm thinking Endgame.
When Thor comes in and starts whooping ass
when
in Wakanda.
Thor, when Thor comes down with Stormbreaker kicking ass and has Groot and Rocket with them and
Imagine having that. Imagine having that Thor with Captain Marvel. That's how you get her popular. Like that's how you get her on screen, and you do it well, not by lowering all of the men. And God, it just boggles my mind that these writers think they have to, emasculate men just to make women powerful. No, you can just have them, as you were talking about, the couples on screen. They were equals in those moments. That's how you do it. You don't lower one to raise
just
the other.
remember, for wanting good female characters, you, sir, are a sexist.
I know, right? I'm just a sexist pig. I'm sorry. I must punish myself. Lord.
Come on. So that's that scene with Pepper and Tony got cheered in my theater.
Yeah.
Probably the loudest. No, Cap picking up the hammer and kicking ass got cheered the loudest.
That got a lot of
cheers. One was Pepper. I don't know about you guys. I loved Paul Rudd and Ant-Man. I think this was the best thing he's been in the MCU.
I agree.
His comeback as crazy. Yeah, the rat running over the thing was a bit much. But after that, him finding out everything, and we find out through him, and then the scene with his daughter, which sometimes I get suckered in by cheap emotional scenes. Okay, especially when it's dad and kid and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm a dad.
There were a lot of those. I mean, and they were done very well. Like at the very beginning, where Tony's like leaving his final message to Pepper. I mean, there's a lot of scenes in there where you're like, damn, dude. The other one, that was another one with Scott and his daughter, and the sacrifice that Black Widow makes too was another one. Even though I did feel it was kind of ripping off Infinity War a bit, it was still a pretty heart-wrenching scene. And then also the death of Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
That was oh man, you know what? Pepper there was at her best. I'm blanking on her, the actor. Gwyneth Paltrow did such a great job on that one, because the last words are I mentioned this last night. She told him that was perfect writing right there. There was not a lot of perfect writing, but her looking at Tony and just saying, we're going to be okay. Not like, I love you and don't go. She just like accepts it and like lets him go. And then and Robert Downey Jr. being the great, brilliant actor he isn't going, go on without me, and doesn't do a 15-minute like, Peter, you're going to be
monologue.
No, he couldn't even talk. And that was
that was brilliant. The thing I liked about it is that they began the MCU with Iron Man, and they ended it with him.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the thing is, like, and I don't want to, and I can't, and I said this last night, and I can't hurt anybody's enjoyment of a film. It's not possible. I can't get into your head and make the film bad for you. It's so, I mean, I don't mean to do that, but like I said, I gave the movie like a solid 8 out of 10. I would have loved to have given it a 10 out of 10. When I watch a comic book movie, I don't need everything explained. It's not like I watch Star Trek differently. Star Trek, I need stuff explained because they set up the universe like that. There's a lot of rules in Star Trek that are pretty definable. With the MCU, it's a little fast and loose. I mean, let's just talk about the Benatar going through a portal and like going faster than the speed of light, but they needed a faster and a speed of light engine in Captain Marvel. So, and I know it was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but the Kree Empire has been traveling the galaxy. They would have to have a faster than light engine. Period.
And that's what assumes that
No
Thanos,
shit.
as one of the most powerful beings in the universe, would also have that same type of technology. So why didn't he just come and just destroy the Earth? I mean,
well, okay, and that's the questions I'm going to ask you guys tonight. We're going to get in the weeds because we're nerds, folks. So just be ready for that. I'm going to get into some super chats in just a second, but the one that's on my mind that I want to hear all of your takes on is Captain America, Steve Rogers, the hero that he is, the man who went against his country to save his best friend Bucky, went against the Avengers, broke up the Avengers, caused the Civil War. The man who couldn't put down being a hero has all of the stones and Mjolnir and like no Thanos to stop him. He goes back in time and he has all the time in the world to do this. All he has to do is put the stones back at the same place at the same time. He couldn't go back and save Tony, save Black Widow. He couldn't have fixed a couple things. And a caveat to this, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure Agent Peggy Carter had a husband and kids, and he went back in time and erased that.
I don't think they did that.
no, because remember, here's the problem. This is the biggest narrative problem with this film. Remember, they explain that it's not like that. That time does not work. Time is not linear, and they assume that new timelines are created every single time you go back. So therefore, when he went back to that time with Peggy Carter, that created an alternate timeline.
But then how did he come back in that timeline as an old man?
Well, I think that was the thing that
he stole all the. Remember, he stole the pin particles, so he would have had an extra pin particle to be able to come back.
But he wouldn't have been. So he came back as
exactly.
Back as an old man, or
it doesn't make any sense, does it?
Sense, and that's the thing. There's paradoxes you got to think about.
Well, there's a lot of paradoxes. Like
hated
Thanos coming to the future. That's a huge fucking paradox.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I hated the fact that they introduced time travel into all this stuff.
Yeah.
Not because it just complicates everything, and it's like nothing makes sense now, and I hate that. They did the exact same thing with like the X-Men movies, and that didn't go over very well. And so now they're doing the same thing with the MCU. I mean, I guess at this point, I don't really care what happens to the future of the MCU because it's probably just going to be a giant woke fest anyway. But just leaving this movie how it is and stuff, it's like, okay, well, wouldn't everything just be drastically different now since they went back in time and messed around with the timeline? Like,
yes,
and that's
there
why.
would be.
Yeah, that's why it's not linear. Yeah.
Peter Parker being 5 years older, and all of a sudden, one article I read last night on the air was the assumption is all the other people who are in his class got snapped as well, so they're all 5 years behind.
Oh my!
How in the hell is he still in high school after 5 years? And you didn't think about this, guys?
Also, why does he miss his friend? If they were both snapped out of existence together, they would not have known the difference.
Yeah.
How do they miss each other? I mean,
that's a great point. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy, I was getting the math wrong last night because it was late, but Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2014. So 2014 Thanos was fighting. That means, and they kept on referring to future Nebula as 9 years in the future. So this fight happened in 2023 because they did the time jump.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have had to have been 2023, which is fine. It doesn't matter if it's in the future if they stick with that.
Right.
But
no, it absolutely was in the future because that was the whole thing that what Tony wanted. And again, this doesn't make sense is that he didn't want to lose what he had with Pepper and his daughter. So that's the reason why they didn't change the past. They just brought everybody who was missing to the present, which is 5 years in the future.
And you have to make that that's a narrative decision for something else that wasn't really in the film. And I'm sure you caught how we can have a Loki series now because he escaped from 2012.
in a new timeline. That's the thing, though, is that
Yeah.
it's a new timeline.
Well, he's going to be
Because-
multiple timelines, apparently.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
gonna
know.
be the
There's
show.
totally gonna be multiple timelines, and because my big thing was, why in the hell did Captain America go back in time or go to a different timeline with all 5 Infinity Stones? There's one for Vision that he could have kept, and there's also one for Doctor Strange that he could have kept, but instead he went back to different timelines. So the current timeline no longer has any Infinity Stones. So Vision doesn't get the stone. Doctor Strange doesn't have a stone anymore because it's not in their timeline anymore.
Well, yes, because they were destroyed at that point.
Yeah.
Because Thanos destroyed them.
Yep.
But Vision's coming back because there's going to be a TV show set in the 50s.
Hmm.
Is that
What?
Yeah.
It'll be in a different timeline, though. I bet. Probably.
Oh yeah.
different
Oh yeah.
timeline.
That's
yeah.
Oh my
so.
god.
So the Loki show, if people don't know, is it's going to be Doctor Who basically. He's got the Tesseract. He's running around time, getting into adventures. It's Marvel's Doctor Who, and Doctor Who, I hate to say, has such an influence on all this time travel we've been seeing lately. That is kind of, this is what happens, and I've explained this with trends, is things happen so fast now, and Hollywood can't keep up with it. It used to be to where a trend would be around a couple, 3 years, and it takes about, and you guys know this, it takes a couple, 3 years to get a movie out. So they're going off a trend from whenever they started production of that film. And they, now things go through so quickly, it's impossible to keep it up. That's why it's good to keep your film timeless, not put real world politics into it.
Yeah.
Or,
well, that's the other thing too. That's kind of the issue with nostalgia, and the reason why we're getting to a point in time where nostalgia is just too impossible to have anymore because of how quickly trends go in and out. I mean, we can have nostalgia for the 80s, the 90s, the early aughts, but when it comes to now, we're not going to see 2000, mid to late 2000s nostalgia because everything just.
It's just going to be gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone.
But also now they can bring anyone back.
Oh yeah.
Now they can literally do anything with any character ever. So Tony Stark could totally bring him back. And if you don't think RDJ is going to want some of that cheddar in a few years because he realizes, oh man, those are some really good paychecks I was getting. Come on.
And he was barely doing anything. He doesn't have to put on the suit anymore. They can now de-age him.
Mm-hmm.
They can de-age anybody. Honestly, you don't need to work out anymore. I don't know if that flab was real on Chris Hemsworth. I doubt it.
No, I think it was digital.
No.
It looked pretty awful.
Yeah.
It was a fat suit. Like it was a prosthetic fat suit, essentially.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna pepper in super chats around our conversation because it's going so good. It's going so good. So thanks again, guys, for coming on. I'm having a great time. The DJD show. Thank you for the $1 donation. Thank you for your wrench, my friend. Thank you for all the shout outs. I appreciate it. Peter Davison, Australian, $5. What was Captain America up to? Well, he was getting laid. And he had to go back in time to do it, which is sad, but that's America's ass.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was fun. I liked it.
I kind of wonder if that was like a joke because of the whole thing with Brie Larson's ass.
I was wondering that too, but they never referenced her in it, and they never had her give like a look or anything. So I figured it probably wasn't.
Chris Evans does have a better ass than Brie Larson does.
Did you see? Sorry, did you guys check? Okay, in the very first Brie Larson scene when she goes, wait, so Odin doesn't better me, but I'm gonna kill Thanos. She turns around and it's a body double because when she turns around, she's got her tight pants on and she's got a badunkadunk going on there. I'm all, that's not Brie Larson's body.
I totally missed it. I totally missed it because I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really look for that kind of thing. So
I care deeply.
I care deeply too. Just not about Brie Larson.
So toxic. You're so toxic, Gary. Oh my god.
Super toxic.
Oh my god,
Gary. Stop it. Stargate.
You're so naughty, Gary. Stop it. Please.
I'm in San Francisco.
Oh my god, you guys are so insufferable.
It's close to Sausalito. Stargate 404, $5. What do you think of all of that scene with Captain Marvel and the other Marvel women who all conveniently were there at one spot at one moment? I think we answered that question with the vagina hive mind, which
all on the same cycle.
trademark Comix Division.
Occasionally have a nugget that slips out.
I want Cecil to write that comic book. I think it should happen. Tito George for $2. Agree. It will all be all new, all different MCU. And Tito, the all new, all different is just the all basic, all woke.
Yes.
The DJ, thank you for the $2. The DJD show for $2. Okay, what's ANAD MCU? Hail Beards. I don't know what ANAD is. And DJD show is like way more internet literate than I am. So tell me what that is, brother.
National Association of Anorexia? Ooh.
Maybe. ANAD. I'm going to be thinking about that all night now. Richard Wetfuss. I was about to say Richard Dreyfuss for $5. If they took the gems before they were found, then things that happened couldn't happen. Yeah, and their explanation for it was Banner going, when you're in the past, that's your future. Yeah, but it's everybody else's past.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
All new, all different. That's what ANAT is.
Gotcha. Duh.
Yeah.
See?
Derper,
Derper, Gary Derper. Tech guy, $5.
We all missed it.
Cap staying past breaks. Carter had a husband, so Cap screws him over selfishly. Where is the Cap there? He's not dead, so why not?
I thought she didn't. I thought Sharon mentioned that she'd never married.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought they said that she.
I think she got married in the comics, but not the MCU.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, there you go.
And also, as I said before, would be in their what I'm calling prime timeline. And
Prime
so
timeline,
and there's other timelines now where that's not the case. So
Is there also a Kelvin timeline?
Maybe. So even if he goes back, does he stop being Cap? So he just stops being Cap. So all the atrocities and horrors that happened in the 50s and 60s, he might have been able to stop. He just stopped. It's a nice, happy ending, and the scene where he was old, it was well done. I thought it was well acted and well done.
The makeup looked fantastic.
It was great. Yeah. And there is an old Cap version that's in the comics that they could certainly use at some point. And I think they left they absolutely left the door because they mentioned it. I know for a fact. Okay. The Ancient One, which I cannot stand, the retconned Ancient One. I mean, Tilda Swinton's cool and everything, but it's not supposed to be her.
I love Tilda Swinton though. She can play anything. I'm sorry. I love her.
I totally agree. But Switch and I were talking about this last night. The issue is if they went with an Asian guy, people would be screaming because it's an Asian stereotype. And of course, because Tilda Swinton did it, they're going to be screaming whitewashing. So you can't win either way with SJWs.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
Tilda
happens when you
Swinton
pander to them.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you pander to the SJWs. You can't win.
Yep.
It
just doesn't make a lot of sense. An Ancient One that's Celtic. I mean, I guess, but it's pushing it. It's like really pushing it.
Gary, she's amazing. She's
amazing. She has no eyebrows.
You hate women, Gary. You hate women.
Really? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Just ask my wife. Okay, so even if the whole Cap going back, and it's a Disney little happy ending, and everybody thought Cap was going to die, and that's fine, but he did. And again, your target audience was pissed last night. The kids in there weren't entirely happy with that ending. They were like, what? They were happy with all the battling and stuff like that, but I think you should recast stuff, and maybe they've left the door open for that. Oh, and to get back to the Ancient One, she talks about it. She says, hey, every time, if you don't put these stones back exactly where they were, you create a nasty little alternate timeline. Well, I bet you it turns out that Cap makes a mistake somewhere, like accidentally doesn't, do something right, doesn't cross a T or dot an I, and we get that nasty alternate dimension, and maybe we get like a Nihilus or something. That would actually kind of be good. But so the shield should have gone to Bucky to finish that tech guy.
I think honestly they should have retired it.
Yeah,
I don't think they should have passed it on at all.
Well, they should give it to somebody with powers.
Say, how can he wield it? He's a human. He's a regular human, and without the wings, he can't do anything.
Yeah, well, that I understand why in the comic series that they pass it to Sam Wilson, because he's one of Cap's closest friends. But the problem for me is the freaking power sets don't mix very well. You see him like flying with the shield and the wings, and it just looks so stupid. And it's something, even if it was possible, you can't do it, man. That shield is gonna fuck up your flying. So it's just it's a bad idea. And part of my issue is that, you know, the wings is such a huge part of Falcon's identity. So to take that away from him, you're ruining the character. So that's the thing that really annoys me about it, is that you're trying to force an issue because you want diversity in a way that doesn't make any freaking sense. So either which way, you ruin the character.
Well, and they could have done it the reverse. They could have made Bucky Cap, and they could have made Iron Man Rhodey, which happens in the comics that everybody would have been fine with. And honestly, Don Cheadle was the best he's ever been in this.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sure.
He was great. And I love the fact that he got a lot of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. We finally got, like, because I really hadn't accepted him as Rhodey until this movie. He's just been kind of there, but you know, and I know he's a great actor. I mean, come on, Boogie Nights, man, he was freaking great in Boogie Nights.
Oh, he's so good, and that's why I love that part. But as you were saying, you know, you need to have someone that has the serum, that or at least has some powers, and it just made the most sense. His best friend, and also think about the character arc that completes for Bucky.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally agree.
That's the whole point of the Winter Soldier. The whole point of I'm sorry, Josiah, but the whole point in the comics was for him to get the shield eventually. So I'm sorry, Josiah, go on.
No, I was just agreeing with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, totally agree.
And someone, I'm not a comics guy, but I heard that basically in the comics originally, before Disney took over, Winter Soldier, Bucky was Captain America. But once Disney did take over, that's when Falcon became Captain America. How true is that?
It's pretty true. Steve Rogers was coming back anyway, right around that time. Falcon didn't become Captain America till after I sold my store, so it was like after 2013. But it like for a good amount of time when I owned my store, Bucky was Cap, and I was talking to people every Wednesday, and they were like, "I am fine if he stays Cap. I am 100% fine." Brubaker's run was great. I mean, he was very much his own Cap, and a lot different, but people were loving it. And people were kind of okay if Cap stayed dead at that point, but they brought him back, and it's not a mantle though. It's not.
No, it's really not. And Dr. Meatball, I agree with you, man. I love Anthony Mackie in the MCU. I think he did a great job as Falcon. And I'm looking forward to him in Altered Carbon as well. I think the dude's a great actor, but I would prefer to see him stay as Falcon rather than Cap.
For sure.
Well, yeah, and what I said last night on the stream is, okay, MCU, you're going to commit? You're going to give Anthony Mackie a trilogy of films? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. And he has made Falcon better than I ever thought Falcon could be on screen. You know, and it's more his character. They haven't done, the costume is kind of mad. I mean, like, my feeling, I'm a costume purist, so I really don't like the mech suit Falcon and the G.I. Joe Hawkeye who doesn't wear a mask. And it's like, well, we got a big giant green guy. Put a goddamn purple mask on Hawkeye. Yes, I want a purple mask with the little pointy things, and I want a tiara on freaking Scarlet Witch. Is it too much to ask, people?
Yes.
I guess it is. Gamer Gambit says, not an Endgame fan. Agenda killed the MCU for me.
Yeah. And think about how you're talking about Falcon. So Falcon becomes Captain America, who now becomes the Queen of Asgard.
Oh, that was
cultural appropriation Valkyrie.
Yeah,
so
cultural
basically,
appropriation.
if you take that and you take the woke moment on the battlefield, you literally see that there are agendas throughout the entire film. Some people can look past them, but I'm sorry, there's just a little too many passing of the torches onto certain people of certain genders and ethnic backgrounds.
Well, they're following the blueprint of what Marvel Comics did, so that's the reason.
And look where Marvel Comics is now, right?
I know, but I'm not going to argue that point, man. I was definitely one of the individuals who was speaking out about what was going on with that, but
yeah. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we're gonna get to another super chat here. Richard Wetfus, Wifus, $5. I suck. Spidey hand waves Doctor Strange's plan. He bid us. He hid us away and then said, "Hey, it's been 5 years," and we're like, "Huh? What?" That's how they explain it. Yep, that's kind of what they did. And,
Well, there's another thing too that kind of bothered me was the fact that Anthony Mackie looks completely different from Infinity War, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with his filming on Altered Carbon. Like his goatee and his beard was completely different.
Yeah, I love him as an actor. I just, as you said, I don't know if he could be a leading person. Like, I don't know if he could pull off the leading role of the leading man. I don't know if he has the charisma for it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out with Altered Carbon when that comes out. Whether he
that's very true. Very true.
Yeah. Well, Joel Kinnaman was Altered Carbon. That's going to be my guess. It's like we'll get a good version. I mean, it's a visually unless they bring back Poe. They bring back Poe, which I don't know how they could, but I guess they could. I don't know. Have you guys? Josiah, have you seen Altered Carbon?
Nope.
Oh,
it's good.
Josiah, you need to see Altered Carbon.
I'll have to. It's on my list. I just haven't checked it out yet. But yeah,
is it that good? Is it that good?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's visually stunning. It's go on.
Huge fan of Cyberpunk, man. It hits all the notes.
Yeah. Cool. So if you're into Blade Runner, it's pretty damn close to that. I mean, it starts out kind of noir, but the story meanders a little bit at the end. But it's still pretty damn solid. It's based on a set of books, and it's basically about humans are sleeves. So your consciousness is basically in a thumb drive that you can stick in the back, and you just become different bodies. So our main character is like an Asian guy in a white cop's body. And there's a lot of interesting things you can play with. That were done done very well, but the money put into this thing and the sets and the costumes, and they have a AI hotel. So hotels have they become sentient. Basically, their computers have become sentient, so they take on personalities. So so nobody goes to the hotels anymore because they're like clingy girlfriends. So the hotels are kind of like stay off on their own. And one hotel is Edgar Allan Poe. So you have the character of Edgar Allan Poe in this cyberpunk thing. It's really bizarre and good.
Cool.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I thought the concept was great, and I really do enjoy those kinds of movies and those kind of world building things. So yeah, I'll have to check it out one of these times when I get a chance. I'm actually kind of looking for a new show to start right now, so maybe I'll jump into that. So
that might be it. All right, Mixie Man.
I just want to make a quick note here. Aren't they doing a Falcon Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus?
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what the future of Falcon's going to be. So
that is one of the planned series that they're going to be doing. Okay. So they have that. They have the
Captain
Vision.
America.
It's probably going to be Falcon Cap, I bet.
Okay.
Probably.
He's going to have the shield. Okay.
Yep. I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought I heard that was one of the series they were doing. So
yeah, it's that, and then the Scarlet Witch Vision, which is going to be interesting because there's no Mind Stone anymore. So it's, I guess, timeline. Alternate timelines.
Oh man,
it's alternate timelines or prequel. I had heard that most of the series were going to be prequels. Because moving things ahead is kind of the movie's territory. But the biggest difference in Marvel TV now is going to be Kevin Feige is in charge. So there will be no Jeff Loeb screwing things up like he did with Netflix.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just have a feeling that the MCU, as we know it, is just going to fall apart. It's just going to be a mess now.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of this is going to be driven by the reaction of the normies, right? Because this is what the majority of the people that are going to go see it are going to be normies. So if the MCU does get totally woke and people are like, I guess that's like what they had in the comics. Those fight scenes are really cool. If they keep making money like with what they did with Captain Marvel, then the trend is just going to continue. If the normies reject it, then yes, it's going to all crash and burn. And they're going to have no choice but to stop.
Yeah.
And they're gonna reject it. Normies get bored of stuff. They move on. Another shiny light goes in front of their face, and they go la la la. To see, okay, this is gonna take a second. So let me explain. I've done this a million times on this, so apologies if you've heard this before in comics. I know you've heard this before.
Probably.
I like to. So the MCU is at its peak. It just reached its peak. This is the biggest it will ever be. Like it was freaking I mean, I can't even explain. Somebody asked in the live stream last night, you know, was there anything bigger than this? And I said yes. Return of the Jedi was still bigger than this. Believe it or not, I was there. It was bigger, but this was pretty damn close. This was pretty big, and it's a bigger franchise. It's more movies, and everybody had superhero shirts on, men, women of all ages. This is something like, as a nerd, it was great to see. It's like we have arrived. But also as a nerd, I've never needed anybody's validation, and I wasn't ever sure if I really wanted to arrive. So Metallica is the band I will use as an example. Metallica was a very popular underground success for a long time. Never did music videos. They were very legit to, you know, punk rockers and the Hessians and the metalheads, and everybody liked Metallica back in the early 80s.
Yes,
we're talking Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All comes out. They do a video. They lose a bunch of their fans immediately. Sold out, but they retained most of them. And, you know, they lost Clifton. So
I think it was Black is really where they
that's
out.
where I'm going. So they get to the Black album. The Black album is their best-selling album by far. It's got massive hits, but none of the hardcore Metallica fans like it at all. But it still sells. They still sell out everything, and they're popular with the normies. And that was it. So they maintain their popularity. They still sell out a lot of places. They still have a ton of fans. There's a lot of fans who've forgiven them for the Black album and like to go see their old stuff. There's a lot of fans of the new stuff, and that's fine. But they were on top of the world at the Black album. They were the biggest band in the world for that little moment, and they were everywhere. They were on the cover of every magazine, and then Load came out. And it didn't sell half as much.
Load and reblowed.
Load and reblowed. Yes, exactly. And that's the best example that's out there of something that was very popular, that everybody loved, that peaked, and it didn't die, but it was never the same after that. Like never ever the same.
I also think the Napster thing hurt them too.
Certainly. But Napster hurt them, but it wasn't going to help. Like Load wasn't going to sell any records, whether it was Napster or not.
No. I'm talking about their stance on Napster.
I know, but I'm talking. Okay,
gotcha.
Comics. It doesn't help them sell albums. So if Lars Ulrich didn't say anything about Napster, they wouldn't have sold any more copies of Load.
Fair enough.
That's my whole point.
I don't know, man. I think the South Park episode about Napster hurt them pretty bad.
Yeah. So they cut their hair and they stopped being Metallica at that point. And they became normie Metallica and became a rock band. And that's where we're kind of at with the MCU. Is we've just had the peak, and it's going to continue. It's still going to be very successful, but it's not going to be the in the stratosphere like it's always been. And that's how these things work, you know.
So to keep the analogy going, would you say that the next the Saint Anger will be Captain Marvel 2?
Maybe yes.
I was going to bring that up. Which one you thought was going to be Saint Anger?
Captain Marvel 2 is Saint Anger. Oh yeah, that's a great idea for an album. Let's turn up our snare drum all the way and just not play guitar for a little while. We'll see what happens. See how the people like it.
Meta action, yeah. Green Day 2.0. Green Day. Oh, talk about a band that is a total fucking train wreck now. We're gonna write a handbook on how to be feminist. Did you hear about that?
Is that true?
Yeah, they got criticized because I guess I don't remember the lead singer's name anymore, but he I guess wrote something about not how to be feminist, but it was something like that. It's something really weird, and they got like a shitload of backlash for it. It was pretty fucking funny. Yeah, Google it, man. Google it. It was like almost like a how-to book, but I want to say it was a how-to book.
Green Day under fire for lacking female voice in feminist book.
Yep, there we go. Isn't that the best?
Rebel Girls Unite, our book with Frank Caruso, Last of the American Girls, is coming 10/29. Pre-order your copy. And it's supposed to be a feminist book by a bunch of little punk rockers from the Bay Area.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Sounds
Talk
delicious.
about get woke, go broke.
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe. There we go. Thank you.
Wow. That's the hubris of that is pretty amazing. God damn, that was shocking. So yeah, that's where the MCU is, folks. It's never going to go away. I'm not saying it's going to die. I'm not saying these movies aren't going to make money. But unless Captain Marvel 2 is a great example. If it happens, it hasn't been announced. I don't think there's another couple sequels to wrap around it starring Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. And, it's like, how are you going to go ahead with Anthony Mackie as Captain America in the films if you've got a series coming out?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's their direction. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, I've said this several times myself, I personally feel that comic books, the best medium for them is TV. A series, not necessarily a movie. Maybe that's the route they're planning on taking the MCU. I don't know. I doubt it. I think they're still going to make some movies here and there, but
yeah. And I mean, it has to be mentioned also in Metallica, Cliff Burton being gone really hurt them badly. Yeah. So Cliff dying, they were never the same. So let's get back to the super chats. And how you doing, Josiah? You all right?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting my stream scheduled here and stuff.
There you go. Yes, Josiah will be streaming after this. What is it? 11 o'clock your time you're starting? So it's 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, it's 10:52 right now. So I won't jump in right away, but yeah, we'll. I'm probably gonna leave here in a few minutes. So.
No problem, dude. Thanks for coming on for a few minutes. I like that. Mm-hmm. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Where is Thor's hammer? Captain America took it back, Peter. Supposedly.
Yeah. That's what happened. Yeah. Yep.
So.
A lot of people were asking me about that earlier too. So.
He dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. Tech guy for $2. Why not create a new diverse chairs? Character. Okay, why not create new diverse characters? Why hijack? Tech guy, they don't even need to do that. They have tons of diverse characters in the Marvel
X-Men.
universe.
Yeah, the X-Men, prime example of that. But yeah, there's plenty of really good, female and minority characters in the MCU. That's the thing that boggles my mind about all this is that the Marvel universe is already so freaking diverse. It's not like it needs to be diversified. If you want to have a woman or a minority character brought to the forefront, write a good freaking story and do it that way and let them stand on their own merit.
Yeah.
But that's not what they want to do. They want to force it on you.
Yep. So that's why they're going to wait. Yeah. That's why they're going to wait 5 years before they even touch the X-Men, because during that time, they're just going to be corrupting other characters because why not?
Yeah.
Because they can.
Yeah.
Because they want to make them Disney characters like everybody said. Oh man. That's why I'm not really that excited about I don't know about you guys. I'm not that excited about the MCU X-Men, to be honest with you. Not unless there's
honestly, at this point, I'm just not excited about the MCU at all. Moving forward. Like, I don't know. Part of it might just be because I'm trying to emotionally detach myself from this series because I don't want to be disappointed with what they're doing moving forward with it. But at this point, I really, at the end of Endgame, I wasn't that excited about what they were going to be doing. And they kind of had some hints in there of what they were going to be doing with the movies moving forward and stuff. And I didn't really care. I was just like, all right, well, in my mind, this is the end of what they've done with the MCU up to this point. After this, I'm not going to get emotionally attached unless they prove me otherwise. But at this point, I don't see them doing anything except for just going down the road of wokeness. So
the Eternals. Eternals next year. They said they're gonna make one of the characters gay, even though they're not gay in the comics, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because people been, the SJW has been complaining about it. But the other thing too, and probably quite a few have heard me say this before. The problem with rebooting a series, specifically like what happened with Hellboy, they didn't even wait a decade or two to reboot it. Most of them don't work because it's already been done and it was done better. And I see that's going to be an issue going forward with the MCU and the X-Men, because right now we're getting a reboot essentially of X-Men 3 with the Dark Phoenix movie coming out. So we're going to see this again, and it's still going to be fresh in our memories, and it's just not going to live up to the expectations.
Oh God, no. Yeah, and why would you remake that? I mean, I guess there's some logic behind remaking something bad because that you could improve on it, I guess. But that movie just does not excite me, and all it does is pisses me off that the MCU, if they don't go woke, then they could do the Dark Phoenix saga, arguably the biggest crossover in all of Marvel Comics history, and they can't do it now because Fox has done it twice.
Yeah.
And Jesus, and nobody will want to see it for a third
Sure,
time.
they'll do it for a third time. Why not? They'll get it right. They'll get it right this time.
Well, look at even like the law of diminishing returns with Spider-Man.
Very true.
MCU, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Talk about a franchise that has been rebooted multiple times.
Yeah.
Got to keep the rights. Got to keep. I mean, that's really what it comes down to too. Is if they don't keep on making the movies, the rights don't get renewed, and then they end up losing. So they would rather keep on remaking, rebooting crappy stories rather than lose access to the characters. Unfortunately.
No, unfortunately. Hey, do you want to plug your channel, Josiah, before you bail?
Yeah, if you guys want to go subscribe to my channel, JosiahRises. I cover movie news and just the current things in the movie business. Yeah, it's a good time over there. So feel free to subscribe if you want to. And yeah, thanks for having me on, by the way, Gary. It's been a really good stream. Sorry, I'm gonna have to bounce here in a couple minutes, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to have more conversations with you guys about Avengers Endgame. I'm sure this will be something we'll be talking about for a while. So, have any of you seen it twice yet? Or
I have.
Okay,
I've seen it twice. I saw it twice in one day.
I was say twice in one day, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. So, as we all watch it more and more, I'm sure we'll have more in-depth conversations about the film. So it'll be good.
Yeah, it was definitely different the second time around. And there we got Josiah's. Thank you, Mark Lazarth. He put Josiah's link in the chat there. You can go.
Thank you for that.
Good Christian white boy right there.
Gary, I have to correct you. Okay, I have to correct you here. I am not a Christian anymore. I am an Easter worshiper.
Oh,
so, yeah. I'd like to be identified as that now. So
is that a thing? I can worship Easter now?
There has been an inside joke there.
According to the Democrats, Christians are now Easter worshipers. They are not Christians anymore. So
Easter worshipers.
Okay, that's new, I guess.
And Democrats are Arbor Day worshipers. Those Arbor Day. I think it was yesterday or something. Freaking hippies. Oh, somebody put Laura Rianne stole my fan fiction story. Put in bunnies for you.
Oh,
there you go.
Also, one question that's been asked several times, and I figure maybe Josiah, if you wanted to answer it beforehand, how did the Soul Stone get returned? It's been asked several times now.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's actually a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Red Skull.
Yeah,
that's Cap meeting the Red Skull, and
that had to be fun.
Man, that would actually make a really cool movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would make a good funny outtake.
A one shot. Oh yeah,
like,
the one shot.
Oh, like
Bring
this
back.
is really awkward.
Man, that would be so good.
But
Marvel's too worried about trying to get their woke points in, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
That's where all their energy is now. So yeah.
Well, that Valkyrie thing at the end was a bit much. I don't want to be king. The whole thing was about him being king, and now he wants to go be himself, which is what, flying around in space with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's going to be as Guardians of the Galaxies.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the movie. I know a lot of people think. I just don't think he's going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Where's he going to be?
I don't know. He said ride. I can get a ride somewhere. He didn't say I'm going to hang with him. So I don't know. I think they actually work pretty well together. I think it'd be pretty funny.
Honestly, Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth play off of each other so well. I would love to see a movie that was centered around those two. It would be fantastic.
That's 2 white male leads, though. We
True.
Can't have that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad news bears there. So,
but they have like 2 minorities in that movie to offset the whiteness, I guess.
Maybe. Well, they also have animals in a tree, so that might do it as well.
Yeah,
because some of those, there might be some out there who think those are real. I am Groot. Yeah.
Oh man,
what'd you just say about my mother?
Guys, I am going to have to bounce. Thank you so much for having me on, Gary. Once again, I really appreciate it. And nice talking with you guys again. And yeah, I will talk to you all very soon. So have a great night.
Later, Josiah. Thanks for coming on, man.
Happy Easter, Josiah.
Yeah, happy Easter worship, I guess. Yeah, whatever.
I will bury one of my chocolate eggs and think of you.
All right, that sounds a little wrong there, but
well, it depends on how you interpret
really
the chocolate
right.
egg.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
On that note, all right, I'm out of here. See you guys.
Bye, Josiah.
Goodbye. See you.
I think we broke him.
Oh, dang. It's just 3 of us now. All right, let me get a couple super chats. Pepper Potts, some more super chats here. Where did we cap? Staying in the past break. Selfishly. Okay.
Mexi Man and Cheese said you skipped him.
No, I actually did. I've got, you are the next one coming.
He
Let me
claimed
make sure.
it. That's what I.
So Mexi Man and Cheese, your first one, which I read was, maybe I skipped his first one accidentally. Or maybe I meant
For
to.
shame.
For shame. Here we go. First thing Disney did was remove sexy. Pre-Disney Iron Man had girls around to be sexy girls. Marvel going forward will just be pancake boobs and weak men. and pancake booties too. Don't forget that, Mexi Man and Cheese. Thank you for the $5. No, I just haven't gotten that far. I'm a little behind. I don't think you had one above that though. I don't think so, but you were definitely next. Tech guy for $2. The girl mob just being there, pure SJW agenda. Yep, it certainly was, and just really bad. It was you could tell that they had a time parameter for that shot, so they couldn't really take the time to set it up to look naturally. And you didn't notice this until you see it twice, folks.
No, it totally came out of nowhere.
It's bad Photoshop. Just look at it. I don't know if you're going to see it again, comics, but for one, you're right. The scene comes out of absolutely nowhere. It makes no sense. And but you see people are out of proportion because they green screened them. You just got to see it, and you'll catch it. Yeah. It kind of looked like, modern posters. One of my biggest gripes, Odin and comics, is modern movie posters. They Photoshop them and nobody's head is ever the right size.
Yeah.
They're always too big or too little, or it just looks lame. I wish they would just go back to painting movie posters or just taking a picture. The Photoshop stuff, their heads are never in the right angle. The lighting's off, and I can't take it. That's what it kind of looked like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to see it again, simply just to see what the rewatchability value of the movie is, and because I always have a hard time criticizing a movie just watching it once, because you see it for the first time, you're there for the spectacle and to see what's going on. It's the reason why I bring up Rogue One. I saw that movie in the theater 3 times. The first time I saw the movie, I freaking loved it. The second time I liked it a little less. The third time I hated the freaking movie.
And because you saw that she was punching stormtroopers through the armor.
Well, yeah, it's not just that. It's like,
it's all just the ending.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. It's all just the ending with Vader at that point. But a lot of it too, it's like you really start noticing the flaws in the movie where it's like, okay, there's no character development for these characters. It's very apparent that they're disposable. It's things like that. I mean, they could have made Jyn Erso a very interesting character with the setup that they had, and nope, not at all. Plank of wood, that's it. And that's kind of the problem that we're getting these days with these female characters, is that we're getting planks of wood. We get it with Rey, we get it with Captain Marvel, we got it with Jyn Erso. And that's the thing that sucks. You go and criticize that, you're going to have the woke crowd criticize you, saying you hate women. It's like, no, I don't hate women. I want good female characters. What's wrong with having a character that goes and gets development? I don't want to see a male character just flying through ships, blowing them up. It's One Punch Man. And that is like exactly what Captain Marvel is. It's One Punch Woman. There is nothing exciting about her character because there is no freaking struggle. And if you've actually seen the anime or read the manga or whatnot, that's the whole point of his character. He's so badass, it's boring. He has no challenge. And that's the problem that he has. And it's the reason why his character is so apathetic.
And speaking of Rogue One, I remember the first time I saw that movie, I was not a big fan of it. And anyone that I would talk to about it saying, oh, but it was so good, I would say, all right, take the Vader scene out, and what do you got?
Yeah.
And seriously, you can't really remember anything other than the ending and the Vader scene. That's pretty much all it has.
Yeah, I bet you if I saw it again, and because I've only seen it once, and I remember seeing it once and going, yeah, it was pretty good, but I had no desire to see it again. A Star Wars movie, and I got some. Yeah, I got to tell you guys this. I'm sure or heard it or saw my tweet, but I'll tell that later. But yeah, I feel the same way. You take away the ending, it's just kind of. I mean, it's obviously the best Disney Star Wars movie, but it's nowhere. It's nothing. I can't. And honestly, you're right. I can't remember anything in the middle.
Zero character development.
I don't remember much. And they reshot that entire end.
Yeah. Oh, you totally could tell that they shoehorned in certain things because they were like, oh, we have nothing memorable. Oh, let's add in Vader and such. And other than the two other characters, the one that was force sensitive, like he was cool. I mean, I guess.
Donnie Yen, yeah.
Donnie Yen's character,
yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, what your theater crowd reaction was like. And I'm in the Bay Area, so it's very tempered usually. They don't clap for shit. We are way too cool for this stuff. But it was very cheery crowd last night, except for one trailer that came up. And I was shocked. And you can engage my hope for humanity because I'm sitting in there. And actually, the Pokemon trailer was the first one that came up. Everybody loved it. I don't know anything about Pokemon, but my son was excited. Everybody's excited. Then there was I can't even remember what the next trailer was. And then the final trailer was Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, and there were boos and hisses in the movie
really?
theater.
That is amazing.
Nice.
It was dead quiet. Yeah, it was dead quiet here. The ones the more memorable trailers we had the Lion King one, which looks amazing, but I have no desire to see it. And there was the Pokemon one, and of course, Rise of the Erection of Skywalker, as I'm calling it. And everyone was quiet. No one cheered. There was no hoops or hollers. It was just like,
that's just as bad.
Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
I had in my theater, there were lots of hoop and hollers during the movie. Before the movie, though, there was one person when the trailer started that was like, woo, and no one else said anything. And so I think that kind of spoke volumes to me because it was like, yep, one of you is excited for this. Everyone else is like, okay, whatever. But I will say with going to the cheering and crowds, my crowd was so cheery. They cheered the what are you calling it? The Avengers?
The A-Force.
The A-Force.
The A-Force.
Yeah,
my theater cheered for
it.
it. Yep. And I had my head in my hand.
Oh yeah, they cheered the A-Force.
Yeah.
And,
there was cheers. I was actually surprised when Captain Marvel showed up for the first time. It wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot, but there were some.
Yeah, I was just pulling up a picture, but so the Captain Marvel scene where she bashes through Thanos' ship, crickets. Nobody did anything. Although they cheered the A-Force scene, I heard a couple of people go psst when Captain Marvel showed up. So definitely probably one of us. I didn't mention this in my stream. So I got recognized for the first time for my channel last night.
Wow,
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because, and I thought it was the comic store. I had a comic store there forever, and I saw a lot of people. Quick story: I got out of a ticket one time because I was the comic guy. Because I sold a comic book to a cop. He broke the rules and could have got himself fired by not giving me a ticket, but that was great. Thank you very much. So somebody's like, dude, Nerdrotic, your channel. I'm like, I was looking around,
what?
Like, what? Hey, that was weird. That was very surreal. I know it happens to Jeremy all the time, but here's the A-Force. So so to give context to the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker booing and hissing, it was more the silence in the theater. It was like 5 people booing and then 2 people hissing. But to get that in a movie theater where I was sitting next to people from Lucasfilm and I was about to do something and I went, I bit my tongue a little bit. Because friends of friends.
You're put on a list.
They weren't my friends. I mean, like, it was my friend Tim got me tickets and it was his friends. So I don't know them. I just know where they were.
Yeah, because you got an early screening, right?
Yeah, I got an early.
Okay,
Early.
okay. I was wondering how you saw it so freaking early.
Oh my gosh, you're so access media, Gary.
I know, I'm such a shell.
God.
Avengers Endgame is the best movie ever. My favorite scene was all those girls. Slay Queen, yeah.
You fucking solo.
A-Force, yeah.
A-Force. Oh my god, it was so great. And I love it when Valkyrie became queen of New Asgard.
Yes. Asgard, it's how we're saying it.
Asgard.
It's Asgard.
Asgard.
Yes, that's how we say it in Asgard.
There is a comic called Young Avengers, and there was so it's basically like Marvel's Teen Titans, Odin, and it had Scarlet Witch's kids that pop up later, and one of them, of course, was gay, and his name, he was like young Thor. His name was the Asgardian. I'm like, you didn't think that through?
Oh, gay character, Asgardian. Perfect.
Yeah, great. Well
yes.
done.
Maybe they did think it through, and that's
maybe they did. That was pretty funny. It's actually a good comic, by the way, the Young Avengers. But I'd recommend it. A-Force, yeah. The only thing I remember about A-Force is on Toys R Us's second to last day, Toy Biz did not Toy Biz, Hasbro did a big A-Force set where you can get all the action figures in a box set, and usually those things sell pretty well. They're about $50 or $60. They had 30 of them at 50% off, and nobody touched them. I should have world-class bullshitters that and took a picture of it.
You really should have.
You should have bought it. You should have Ethan Van Scivered and bought it.
And then cut the head off and get called out for misogyny.
Yeah.
Misogyny?
You're such a toxic male.
Did you see that article where they referenced the Ethan Van Sciver cutting off the head of Captain Marvel?
I heard about it. What article was that?
Oh fuck, dude! I'll have to go dig it up.
I remember the scuttlebutt about it. Ethan's arrived. I mean, well, he arrived a long time ago, but when you have people, making fake accounts and calling you out as misogynist, you've arrived. You've definitely done something right. And good for him. I just lost. Oh, okay. There we are. And diverse Y hijack JD. That's not my friend JD from Portland, is it? JD $1.99. Thanos reduced to typical bad guy in Endgame. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Do you think they kind of oversimplified Thanos, or he just wasn't much part of the story? It definitely felt different because he was younger Thanos, not much younger, but younger.
To me, it was, and that was, again, one of the biggest reasons why I had issues narratively with the film was because I felt so many characters were just not consistent. so many characters were not the same as they were in the previous film. And I know somebody would say, oh, but that's because there's a 5-year jump. But even before the 5-year jump, there is just something that's just off. And it just doesn't, there's just something not quite right about it. So Thanos would be one of them, where not really menacing, not really, in control as he was in everything else. And it just, I didn't like it.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. That's talking about how they established the rules and then went and broke it was the arrival of Thanos. That the whole thing right there, and that's the problem when they they killed him off. They've destroyed the Infinity Stones. You have to do something, right? You have to go get them, gather them up to do whatever. It would have been better if it was about them trying to go and collect the stones. Thanos was living his life, gets wind of it, and then you had the final count, the final showdown again. That would have been a better way of handling it than doing all the time stuff.
I think that, I totally agree. I still enjoying I didn't mind Thanos that much, to be honest with you. I mean, it was a little different, but I think they probably felt like the first movie was about him. This one's about the Avengers.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Comix and Odin, that it sounded like they were tasked a lot of things prior to making this film. And I think somebody really fell in love with the idea that it's the 10-year anniversary, or we're close to it. And you kind of go back through the Marvel universe within this film. Not to everything, but there's a lot of tons of callbacks, and it was a way to fit other people in and give everybody their chance to shine. And listen, I mean, we're nerds. We're going to dissect things. I totally sympathize for the Russo brothers. And I said this before the movie came out, despite Captain Marvel being involved, there is really no way to satisfy everybody with this movie. You just can't do it. And I was really surprised when I heard time travel. I was like, really? That's what you're going to do? I thought they were better than that. And I'm wondering if they were, I don't know. There's supposedly a lot of cuts. They did a lot of reshooting on this, of reshooting,
and it's kind of apparent in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with the Captain Marvel for sure. She's got different hairstyles in different scenes, so
that's why pacing is off a bit too. Editing, it's a mess. Again, that's why for me the reason why I didn't like it, narrative, and editing mess for me. Sorry, everybody.
That's
Sorry.
okay. I still liked
Sorry.
it. I mean, I just sat through Star Trek Discovery, so
Good God.
just use the Eddie.
How do you survive, man?
Fuck. The Eddie Murphy Ritz cracker thing. If you haven't eaten for a while, the Ritz cracker is the greatest thing you've ever tasted. And it's like, yeah, maybe that was it. I don't know. But how do I survive? You guys. Yeah. Other YouTubers, my subscribers, my friends in the chat, the fandom.
He puts his balls in the drawer and slams them shut
over and over again.
Yeah.
And then I live stream. My voice is actually a lot deeper than this.
He's got testicular fortitude.
He talks like Mickey Mouse.
Oh man. Meximan and Cheese, our good friend, $2. Every male is Worf and Captain Marvel is a barrel. Every male is, well, they took most of them out. And that's God damn it. That's the one thing I freaking hate about this. And honestly, I wish I could I tried to fit this in. I had a couple titles for tonight. So one of them I was trying to figure out how I could snap the MCU out of existence. I couldn't figure out a clever one. The other one was going to be MCU, the woke is on you. And I almost made it. I was like, that's pretty good.
that is pretty good, dude.
But I went with Let It Brie.
That's still good.
Thank you. And yeah, this is the thing I want to talk about probably forever is, and I can't have it back, but it's like, was it worth it? Was it worth having this at the cost of the source material? Because that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's the thing. I think one way or another we're fucked. So I think we should just enjoy what we got.
Yeah.
Hold it tight, hug it, pet it, keep it warm at night. I don't know. Like we're fighting in in a way, a losing battle, in my opinion. Like I said, it's going to take the strength of the normies to break the wokeness.
I don't know about that. I think it depends on where you're coming from with that. Seems like I haven't like thought about what my goal was, but I was very encouraged last night. That booing at the Star Wars trailer put me in the best mood. And
That's good. Like I said, there was a lot of cheering in my theater for Captain Marvel, so that's, I don't know.
Really? Yeah. See, I got none.
Yeah.
I got zero. Now, I guess she was involved in the all woman scene, which did get cheered, but her scenes, nothing. So, and that's in the Bay Area, dude. So, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the theater. You know, I totally understand that. I think getting stuff back into the middle should be the goal.
I agree.
Me. And if that continues to be a fight, that's certainly discouraging and a problem. But I think it will. I think people will get tired of this shit.
I think the other thing too, which is funny, is that from the smear merchants, we're gonna get the you're misogynist, blah 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 blah, and then after like a couple of months, a year or two, is when they're gonna be agreeing with us that it could have been better. And the reason why is because they have to fight us on an ideological level. So they can't agree with us because, we're all sexist and misogynist and racist and all the other isms as well. But once that goes away and people stop talking about it is when they're going to let their true feelings know. Oh, Jodie Whittaker was not a great doctor because don't you expect more from a female character? It's basically the shit we're saying, but wrapped in a different package.
Yeah. Well, I think there are some actually aren't there already saying that, which is funny.
That's my point. Exactly.
JD $1.99, but Pepper has no fighting experience. She had a little bit in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And we're having to go on a strong assumption that she had been training.
Yes.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't just jump into a suit and all of a sudden, boom. They even explain that in Ant-Man and Wasp. At least Wasp is like, she's been training for years.
And they could have made mention to it too. The reason he was talking to his daughter about why he built the suit and whatnot. If there's any, your mom knows how to do this stuff, blah, blah, blah. If anything ever happens to me, she can take over, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's like that muscle bound dude, that like, couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. Like really good in the gym, but no. How you doing, Odin? You all right?
I'm doing just fine. I was actually, someone posted, I think it was Mark posted the A-Force team up again, and looks just as bad as I remember.
Is there a picture of it somewhere on the net? Because I wanted to see, it really just looked like, I don't know, especially when I saw it the second time, I'm like, I shouldn't have seen this the second time.
It's hard to tell in that clip because it's very poor quality because it's a cam that's somehow on YouTube still. But yeah, it's interesting.
And here, let's see if I can pull it up. Endgame.
The best part, of course, though, is the first person that lands is Carl Manvers. And
Coral. I can't find it. Somebody DM it to me. You don't need it.
Lens flare force. That's great.
Lens flare force. Yeah, and it just seemed like really dark and orange, kind of like the end. It was the same palette as the Titan fighting scenes in Infinity War, and there was just something, that you could tell they were keeping it dark, and they had to for effects. And listen, I understand they were on a time limit, and that must have been an insane. That working on that must have not been fun.
Well, there's another thing too. I honestly was hoping they were going to keep the final fight small. And when you had Cap going up against Thanos and Iron Man and Thor, I was like, wow. I was like, that's awesome. They're not going to overdo it. And as soon as I thought that is when everybody fucking showed up. You had the huge army, and then you had all the portals start opening. I'm like, God, no. You could have had a very small, intimate fight, and they went all Zack Snyder all over.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's Brie Larson's stunt double.
No, she does her own stunts. Didn't you know?
Oh
Remember?
yeah,
She does her own stunts.
Yeah, I know, but
No,
then-
remember, she's not gonna be. No, I'm not gonna be the next Tom Cruise. I'm gonna be the first me. Thank you very much.
and
She
this
don't have no stunt double.
and this is a Endgame stunt double. And by the way, I think the stunt double makes a better Captain Marvel than Brie Larson.
Oh yeah, I agree, honestly.
Like way better. Okay, they have the same roots. That's quite amazing. That's their real hair, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna go all hairdresser on you.
Oh my god.
Those are some roots right there. Oh, maybe that's fake.
No, you can also tell one's had work and one hasn't. I'll let you guess.
There's some work going on right there in that forehead. That's a 5 head right there.
Yes. One has that au natural look. The other has that plastic look. I'll let you guess which one. Yes.
I think it's the one on the left.
I think
On
it
your
is
on your left.
on your
Wow, there's Brie's stunt double, the non-existent stunt double. Everybody,
She does her own stunts. Yeah,
she does her own
good,
stunts.
good for her.
Mhm.
No,
First
no,
me.
it's sarcasm.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
John Barry, $10. The Russos went out of their way to say that Thanos didn't use the Power Stone to kick Hulk's ass and then made him have to use it to overcome Captain Mary Sue. She ruined the movie for me. Jason Barry. And it's these little things that keep coming up. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she's somehow able to fight against him using the entire gauntlet. Okay. But one stone taken off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. How that, yeah. Honestly, if you think about that, he goes down in power when he removes the stone from his gauntlet because that's the whole thing. He's like a god.
Now, some are saying that he's not utilizing them at the time somehow. So it's when he takes it out and utilizes the Power Stone. That's what gives him the power. But once again, she's able to hold off the entire gauntlet with all the stones in it. But one stone's taken off and used. Then all of a sudden, it's no longer that headbutt to the iron skull that she apparently has. And yeah, it reminds me also of how in the hell did Iron Man wield all the stones at the same time before the snap and not die, when Peter Quill could only hold one of the stones.
When he was part freaking celestial at that point too.
Yep.
I'm going to go with that. He wasn't directly touching it because it was on the armor. I mean, ultimately it did kill him.
How did he build armor that could hold them, seeing that the armor that was originally built was the same that was used to build, Mjolnir and
Stormbreaker? Yeah.
I don't know, man.
As I said, there are so many plot holes in this movie. And that's
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Yeah.
That's kind of comic books, though, Odin. I mean,
it is kind of comic books.
Respect your opinion. I totally do.
Respect my authority.
I respect it, but I've been reading comics for a long time, and shit like that happens all the time. It really does. And in comic books, it works just fine. But yeah, movies, you got to answer these kind of questions.
Yeah.
We're honestly the kind of guys the Russo brothers going to go, those motherfuckers are picking us apart. We did the best we could. And I'm just going to say,
I don't necessarily blame them, though. I don't think it's necessarily their fault.
I mean, they didn't need to with the group scene in the beginning. I mean, they did that to score woke points as well. And it wasn't honestly, it wasn't as bad as the all girl scene or anything. It was just there. And I understand it. We got to see Jim Starlin, which is good. It's about time he got some effing props. The bald guy who was in the group was Jim Starlin, the creator.
Oh, okay. There was nothing too that leaped out at me. Did you notice that the end credit scene for Captain Marvel did not sync up at all?
Yeah. Yeah. What was up with that?
I don't know, man. Because that made no fucking sense. She shows up out of nowhere. Where's Fury? And then she's coming down with the Guardians of the Galaxy ship with Nebula and Tony, and it's like that scene just felt so fucking tacked on now.
Well, when she shows up, That was one of the scenes that looked like they copy and pasted her from Captain Marvel. She had Captain Marvel hair, and which was that 90s Jennifer Aniston haircut. And yeah, it looked weird. And that there was a couple of really quick, weird cuts where it went from space and Thanos to Tony talking to his dad. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. But Richard Whitefist, $5. Guys, I just got back from it. Explain to me about taking the stones out of time and then putting them back, but Cap took himself out of time.
Yeah, that's another problem with the movie. Back to what I said about how they established the rules and they just went and broke every single one throughout the film.
We make up the rules as we go.
Exactly.
Jeez.
But if you're going to do that, be honest about it.
What is truth?
I'm not conceited. I'm just honest. Stargate 404, $5. How can Captain Marvel get everywhere so fast? Well, especially when she needs a faster than light engine, although she has a stone that can teleport her anywhere across the universe, but never mind. Seems like she has teleportation. Also, if she can smash through Thanos' ship, why not Thanos himself? Well, she also stopped like somebody just mentioned, you guys, a fired up Infinity Gauntlet, not one that wasn't active or anything, one that had like energy crap coming out of it.
Well, and that's the problem with cosmic characters when they're not fighting other cosmic characters. They are just so
OP.
They ruin everything. I mean, like for her just to fly through Thanos' ship, like I said, it took a lot of tension out of what was going on. Because it was just so effortless.
Also, Gary, I don't know if you knew this, but apparently there's an account called Nerdrotic's Caddy, and the person says the truth is Gary isn't very good at golf. Says your caddy.
I am not going to deny that. I suck.
That's beautiful.
I just saw that. And I'm like, that's such a unique name for her.
That has to be Truth Apocalypse. That has to be Truth Apocalypse.
I could really use a caddy because I like golf. I like the idea of golf. Nobody likes to golf with me because it takes 16 hours. I got to go find my ball. I never know where my balls are. Usually my wife has them, but when I golf,
is that the story of our life?
Yeah. When I'm not banging them into the dresser with the drawer over and over again before a live stream, my wife has them, or I'm losing them on a golf course. Oh God. William, thank you, Stargate 404 for the $5. William Jenkins, $10. Hail to you all. I didn't see the movie, and sadly, I won't. But I still want to know who killed Thanos. Next movie I'm looking forward to is
time?
Yeah, I must say there's multiple.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino is the best. I am looking forward to that movie. It takes place right around when I was born, 1969. Wow, that's so who kills Thanos? Thor.
So Thor the first time beheads him.
Yeah, which is badass. That was
a
badass scene. I love that.
Fuck it. Bam, take his head off.
And Tony.
Yep. And then Tony, I am Iron Man.
That was pretty epic.
Again, there are scenes I can look at and say, okay, beautiful scenes, well crafted, well put together. But as I said, and some people are upset being like, why are you looking so far into it? Guys, the tagline for my channel is I am the critic who is a cynic. What were you expecting from me?
Yeah. Another point that someone brings up in the chat is why didn't Nebula die when she killed her past self?
Yeah, because timelines. No, because timelines. Because there are different timelines. It's not one. For example, with timeline, actually, I turned myself into Doc Brown on a stream I was on earlier. I was like, "Good God, everybody! Great Scott! Great Scott!" So basically, when you go back in time, you create a new timeline, and so therefore, she was from an alternate timeline. And so when she got killed from that timeline, while Prime timeline, the one that we're currently in, remains intact. Very convoluted, but that's how they're explaining it. It's not linear.
Well, the issue is I also am kind of annoyed how they cheese bringing back Gamora.
Oh, and I think it was again, this is my conspiracy theory tinfoil hat. By the way, this is the grandfather paradox. That's what we were talking about. I like this little picture. It's solved. I don't understand it, but there you go. The grandfather paradox is what we're talking about. Is if you die in the past, you die, you die, you just done. So what was I saying again? Oh my God, I'm getting
So
old.
this is not what the MCU is doing. They're doing something different.
They're doing something completely and you're right. I think they're creating different timelines. They are. And I forgot what I was going to say after that.
And as Comix was saying, I mean, multiverse is what they are probably eventually going to build to.
Yep.
And maybe
that would make sense. That would make sense if they're going to go full Secret War.
Well, and that's the thing I brought up last night was, would DC retire Batman? Never. Never in a million effing years they would recast Batman. Why? Because there is no actor that is bigger than the character of Batman. Chris Evans is not bigger than the character of Captain America. Oh my God, what did I just say?
For shame.
Or foreshadowing.
She's the new captain now. So and Robert Downey Jr. is not bigger than Iron Man. I mean, he might be the closest one to it, but you still bring back Iron Man and something, not Ironheart, or you make it Rhodey for a while. There's a lot of weird things you can do. You go back in time and get Kid Tony Stark. They did that for a little while in the comics. Didn't really work very well, but
honestly, I think that what they should have done is just stopped at this point, wait 5-10 years, and then
recast.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally agree with that. Beat Bond. And maybe not connect everything so much. I think DC might, if they can get their shit together, that might pay off for them in the future. Just doing some one-offs and then once in a while have a team-up film.
You know what they're gonna do? You know what the future's gonna be? And I think Disney's kind of laying the platform for this. Is they're no longer gonna do the solo films. What they're going to be doing is they're going to do the series. They're going to do strictly series. And then once, as you said, every 5 years, maybe that's when they do a movie and it's the giant, big team up culminating event. And I think that's what you start to see happen. And then eventually I think everything is going to go to the streaming services because I think that's the future. But
oh yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. Nicholas Horton, £2. Does Sharon Carter still exist?
Last I checked, granted, she was only in one movie.
She was in 2. Was she in 2?
She was in Winter Soldier. As far as
she was in Civil War for like a minute.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. She was. All right. So technically 2.
Lou, Australian $2. What about Nebula versus Nebula? Shouldn't she be dead? Yes, she should be dead. I'm glad she isn't because Kara Gillan was one of the best things in the movie. She was great as Nebula.
Absolutely.
I wish there was more between her and Robert Downey Jr. They had like a weird chemistry, that was really good.
Oh, at the very beginning, that was awesome.
It was so good when she, the little scene where she picked him up and put him in the chair and buckled him up and kind of tucked him in. I thought that was like cool as hell.
That was very cool.
Yeah. And that was,
and then it got ruined by Captain Marvel.
It really did.
So for those that are confused, so imagine that this is a timeline. All right. So this is prime time right here. All right. This is the prime timeline. All right. So imagine that you go back in time. It's not that you're still in this timeline. You now create an alternate timeline. And so therefore, whatever happens here only affects this timeline and not the one you came from. Yes. Is it convoluted? Absolutely. But that's how they're able to get away from old Nebula dies. No, Nebula from this timeline.
It's also how they're able to bring back Gamora as well.
Yep, exactly.
But yet they didn't do that for Black Widow.
Anyone else.
Or anyone else. Yeah, or Tony.
And that's not, I mean, they're going to make it the Gamora, but what Odin just put out there, the Gamora that we know and love is dead and gone forever. And this is a different Gamora. Yep. So this is, as DC would put it, like Earth 47 Gamora or something, Yeah, it's a string theory kind of, Oh my God, I accidentally got in that picture again. Why do I have it looking at me twice? Jesus Christ. No.
Gary, it's because you want her. Let's just be honest.
It's okay. Honestly, it's my wallpaper on my computer.
Admit it, you fapped to Captain Marvel.
I mean, let's just be honest. It makes the perfect poster. It's flat enough, right?
Ouch! Ouch! Sick burn.
That was bad.
It was.
It
Lee
was naughty. I
Johnson.
know. I'm sorry. It was so naughty. I'm sorry.
Lee Johnson, $5. Silver lining. At least the butt double will have plenty of work.
Perfect timing. Yes.
Lee, brilliant. Oh, Lee. Thank you. $2 message retracted. I bet you it was the most profound message ever made. And
The funny
now
thing is,
it's
I
gone.
actually read it before it was retracted, and I don't even remember what it was anymore.
Well, because it was erased out of your mind because it was so prophetic.
It
They had to snap out. Did everybody go Google Thanos and click on the glove?
Mm-hmm.
It makes the Google thing disappear and stuff, and a little thing happens. It's pretty cool. Guam Tech for $2. What do you think about the kid at Tony's funeral? That was the kid from Iron Man 3.
Was it really?
Oh, holy!
I
I
totally
was wondering
missed
who
that.
the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Because I saw them, I'm like, who the hell is that? Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Richard Whitefist for $5. Sci-fi fans love to overthink sci-fi films. Yes, we do. And TV. So you should make sure your story is solid. Richard, bless you. See, again, you're going to hear creatives, and you've heard people get at Odin. Why do you care so much? Why do you do this so much? Then why are you here? Because you do not understand fandom.
Yep.
This is it. If I still had my comic shop, this would be the same exact conversation I would be having for the next 2 months with people.
The simple answer is, why do I care? Because I do.
Yeah. I mean, I could be, talking about the stock market, and I could talk about poverty and politics and important things, but I mean, come on, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right? Right?
This is important. It is important.
It
And,
is.
the stock market is so important, Gamble.
Oh my God.
Culture is important. Okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
This is where I put on my anthropology hat. This is modern mythology, and mythology is important to people. It's so much. I want to say our brains are geared towards religion and mythology. It's the reason why we perpetuate it. It is a very important thing to culture. So that's why culture is important.
No, it's one of the things that defines it.
Yeah.
That defines being a conscious being in culture and stuff like that. Yeah. That's why it's been around forever. Amen to not being able to satisfy everyone, Gary. Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, you got to try. And if you fail, you fail. I think they did the best job they could. I don't think anybody could have done any better than the Russo brothers. I'll put it that way. I don't think there's anybody out there that could have put this much together, work with Kevin Feige and Disney and Marvel, and do all the politicking out there possible. No, not the best director. Actually, the hot big name directors would have been the first ones to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is the best we were going to get. But that really shows one of the major flaws of Hollywood, because they still, even when Disney is the owner of the source material now, they still don't 100% believe in the source material.
Mm-hmm.
They still feel like they need to they still feel like they need to not put a mask on Hawkeye and give everybody kind of like these basic costumes and stuff. And Falcon doesn't have he's not predominantly red, he's black. It's because, that would look silly. You got a big green guy with purple pants on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Everything, it's all silly. Yeah, it's fun. It's silly fun. We love it.
Yep.
And that's, I point this out over and over again. The most of the most successful comic book movies are when the character looks pretty much just like they did in the comic book, because it is a brand, and you identify with that brand. And I don't even like the Far From Home Spider-Man costume. I hate it, but they feel like they need to change it for action figures and stuff. And that's why I remember thinking comics back in the day, going, Iron Man should be more popular than he is.
Yeah, he really should be.
You could make he's Batman. You could make 1 million different action figures from him, and lo and behold, it happened. Well, it was Marvel's fault. They never really gave it was Robert Downey Jr. who gave him a personality. So you got to give him credit there. Everything is Shakespeare after a bout of STD, says Opie-Wan Jabroni. Opie-Wan Jabroni.
Well, another thing too is that they totally could have shit the bed with this movie. You know, at least with all the problems, it was still satisfying. If you are invested in the MCU, it is a satisfying conclusion, you know, warts and all.
It was for me, but that whole next chapter turning the page thing,
Yeah.
Nope. There's gonna be no more movies. There is no more MCU movies. This was the finale. This was it. No more.
There's no more.
There's no more.
Nothing more to say here.
Yeah.
I tell you, nothing more to say behind this curtain right here.
We were all on vacation.
Kid at his funeral. Sorry. Nicholas Horton, $5. Will they retcon Scarlet Witch's backstory when they eventually bring the X-Men into the MCU? Yes, maybe.
I don't know.
Talk about someone I wanted to see kill Thanos. That would have been awesome.
She got close. They don't really, I mean, her powers are telekinetic kind of thing. It's nothing like her powers in the comic books, which would be hard to. Well, actually, I don't think so. I think they'd be very cool to show because it's like chaos magic.
Yeah,
I was about to say I thought it was magic.
Yeah, it's chaos magic, and she's incredibly powerful and dangerous.
Yeah,
and unstable, and that's what kind of makes her a cool character. And she made all the mutants disappear once.
Yeah,
I just think Olsen plays it perfectly.
Yes,
I think that she's great.
She's great.
Ever since she dropped the accent, thank God she dropped the accent.
It's like Halle Berry when she was trying to do the accent. It just didn't work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and in the first or Princess Leia.
Oh, I'm sorry. God, that just reminds me of one of the worst lines ever. You want to know what happens to frogs that get struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything
else. One of the worst lines. I mean, it's like setting up this big, here it is. The same thing that happens to everything else.
What the?
Do you know who wrote that line?
Who?
Joss Whedon.
What?
Yep. He did some script doctoring on it, and he wrote that line.
Oh my God.
Well, it proves my point that Joss Whedon is not the genius everybody thinks he is.
Yeah, I think it was probably supposed to be delivered a little like sassier. And it was probably supposed to be of like kind of like I'm trying to explain it. There's no explanation for it. It's really bad, but it was probably supposed to be like, I don't care enough about you to deliver this and flick you away, and there was probably some like badass lightning bolt that was supposed to just evaporate something. I don't know. There's no explanation for it. It's a horrible fucking line. I remember I remember like, what? I'm sorry, what? That wasn't good. That's not exactly
what did you just say?
That's not good.
What?
You know what happens to peanut butter jelly sandwiches after people eat them?
They get pooped out.
They get pooped out.
Just like the script.
Oh,
Richard Whitefish, question: if Cap went back in time, met and stayed with Peggy, she granted their relationship was a secret. Why doesn't he tell her about Hydra/Shield? See, this is the problem with time travel. It's a double.
You have to admit though, that one scene where he walks when he's in the elevator.
Oh yeah,
he's like, "Hail Hydra." That was fucking hilarious.
That was great because I only knew about that plot point from the comics from my friends that read comics, and so when I heard that, I was like, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I actually get that. I love it.
I do think it was probably a bit of a jab at the whole Secret War thing.
A beautiful jab.
Secret War, Secret Empire, or the fuck that
Secret Empire. It's okay.
Secret Empire.
Secret stupid. That's what it was.
Secret stupid.
William $4.99. MCU Spider-Man is a travesty. No Uncle Ben, no J.J. Jameson, and I'm sick of his fanboy persona. Are Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire busy? Sam Raimi is. Tobey, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I
Did Spider-Man 3 like kill his career?
Toby's? I think
Yeah.
so.
Mostly, yeah.
I think it was emo Spider-Man with him like strutting and doing like the finger guns. Yeah, that's oh my god. Oh my god. That movie, it makes my brain hurt so much.
But the memes from it have been fantastic.
You
And
got
there
it.
is
That's
a
the funny
fantastic
thing.
trailer from what's it called? Captain Marvel funny trailer is what it is or something. Oh, and they put basically this guy takes Aldo Jones, that's it, weird trailers, and his favorite character that he puts in is emo Spider-Man, and it's hilarious. I'm gonna post that in the chat for everybody.
Post it.
That's
you.
that's the great thing with really shitty things like the Star Wars prequels is that somebody will go and take it and then change it, and it's fucking hilarious. It's just search on YouTube Jedi Dance Party. There's these guys that went and redubbed parts of the prequels all the way through Return of the Jedi. And it's fucking hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. The Jedi are a bunch of heroin addicts. Their lightsaber battles are dance-offs. It's fucking great.
What the hell?
The top comment, Big Gus says, "What are midichlorians? It's heroin."
It's heroin. Yes. That's exactly it. That's from the first one. They actually had the clip from when I don't remember the kid's name. He's asking him, Master Qui-Gon, what's midichlorians? It's heroin. Fucking great.
That would be a better explanation for sure. Aldo Jones, yeah, he's got 741K. Yeah, he won't hit me with a copyright. Hey, go subscribe to Aldo Jones. I'll give him proper.
I love it.
You can't do it. War is a universal language. Oh, I get it.
There it is.
Oh man.
I can't hear. I don't hear. I'll screw it.
Oh man. This guy has way too much time on his hands.
So great. Look how long it takes him to get the attention.
Oh, damn. That is some pretty good editing.
Yes. Oh, this is great too.
Oh, dude, I
I
gotta watch
love
that later with audio. That's
Oh, I
fucking
love it.
hilarious.
Dude, Aldo Jones. That was great.
And I'll post it again for people in the chat if y'all want to watch it with audio, which it's just even better. Oh, it's so good.
Somebody shared with me the video. I can't find it now. I couldn't find it last night where Thor calls the hammer and hits her in the head on the way back. That was so good. That was great. Oh man. Sorry. Thanks for sitting through that, friends in the chat, and thank you, Odin. That was funny as hell, dude.
I'm glad there were some people who were just like, "What's going on?"
Okay, so back to the super chats here. Then we'll get back to the conversation. Wow, I dipped down a lot. Bear. Thank you for the $1 donation. Did you notice they did the same thing to Thor that they did to Peter Parker in Spider-Verse? Yes, I did. And I mentioned that last night. Thank you, Guam Tech, for $5. That sometimes when you see the same idea in the same, well, it's the same franchise, technically, there's a message being sent there.
Well, did they? I haven't seen the movie, so did they make him a joke?
They make him overweight and flabby. He's got a big gut, and he's got to put on his costume. He's not drunk, but they do the flabby. Well, he's broken though. I don't know if he's eating junk food. He's not drinking, so it's essentially the same thing. And it takes Miles Morales to kind of bring Peter back. And by the way, it's insinuated that Peter is the Peter from the Raimi movies, the first two anyway, because they show a couple of his flashback scenes, which are scenes from the Raimi films. And he broke up with Mary Jane, and he got fat in his apartment. Yeah, so it's essentially the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Thor's like real tragedy. I mean, Peter's is breaking up with a girlfriend. Come on.
Yeah,
it's not like he had kids with her or anything. But yeah, I don't know. Did you see Into the Spider-Verse, Odin?
I did. I really liked it from a story perspective, but the animation bothered me. Just the stop motion aspect to it. It bothered my eyes. And so the whole time I was just like, why can't it be fluid? Like you can still have the beautiful images with the fluid motion. And I didn't like that choice that they made to have kind of like more of a stop motion animation to it.
Yeah, it was really jittery and dropping frames and stuff. And I guess that was an aesthetic choice. And that was weird.
And I did not like that choice. Yeah. The animation itself, like the individual images were beautiful. The world was beautiful, but the jitteriness just didn't work for me.
I know that the director is a bit of an asshat.
One of them, yeah. And that's the funny thing is that it had multiple directors and multiple writers, as
really
so many of these things do. And one of them was said some kind words about Antifa. So
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
It gets harder to separate the art from the artist these days, especially when they when they give shit to fans. That's when they lose me. So I enjoyed Spider-Verse first time I saw it, and it's one of those movies that if it existed outside of 2019, away from the politics, I probably would have been fine with it, but it was definitely current year. Yep. Richard Wyfus, I'm sorry. Thank you again, Richard Wyfus. William, $4.99. MCU Spider-Man. I already read that. God damn it. And okay. Guam Tech, $5. What do you guys think about the kid at Tony's funeral? It was the kid from Iron Man 3. He was alone and was the same kid same kid when they showed Ant-Man showed up. Maybe a future character. I don't think it was the same kid. I'm pretty damn sure it was the kid from Iron Man 3. So I didn't check the IMDb. That's what I had just assumed when I saw it. I'm like, because I did say, I'm like, who is that? I'm like, oh, it's probably the kid from Iron Man 3. He'd be older now. And
I didn't connect the dots.
Yeah. Richard Wyfus, $2. Orville handled time travel better in two days ago. It really did. It really did. And it did erase you out of existence when you, or it showed dire consequences for a very bad decision, which sounded like a good one, and it was fantastic. Watch the Orville finale.
I can't wait to get there because because of you, I'm in season 2 and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm halfway through that episode.
Well, I won't spoil it. I did a recap anyway. It's on the channel. You can check it out. I just did it a couple hours ago.
I know. That's why I'm watching it, so I can watch a damn recap.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Wow, that's cool.
I like your videos, dude. You do good videos.
Thanks.
You do good work, man.
You do good work, sir. You do good work.
I say, I would dare say you do, sir.
I got to hit you up with some movie math. Let me get through 2 more super chats here. We'll hit you up with some movie math. Richard Whitefist, $2. Orville handle. I already did that. Justin Poor, Australian, $2. Go woke, go broke. Yes, every single time, but they will never learn, and because they have money to burn right now. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rhyme right there, but I do it all the time. They have money.
That's a rhyme crime, sir.
It was a rhyme crime. They have money to burn because it's the streaming war. So they have a bunch of investment money, including Disney and CBS and Warner Brothers and DC. And that's why we're seeing, we're getting some good content out of this, but eventually it's all going to come to an end sooner than you think. Inferno PS, $5. Just tuned in. Nerdrotic Comics, Josiah and Odin together in a live chat, and I thought I have seen it all. How do you guys like the American ass jokes?
I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
I still think they were poking fun at Brie Larson.
I think you're onto something there. I did not think
awesome
about that. That would be really funny if they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Odin, real quick, what do you think this movie's going to pull down?
So my range for the opening weekend is 850 to $1 billion for opening weekend. It's definitely going to make a lot of money. I think between 850, my final prediction for the weekend was around 950 million. But again, anywhere in that range, 850 to $1 billion for the opening weekend. And for final numbers, 2.5 to $3 billion. It's definitely going to make more than Infinity War at this point, and it's just tracking very well everywhere that it's at right now. And we have the only film I think that will ever come out again that could possibly get close to matching Avatar's 2.7 billion. And this would be the only one I can think of. So 2.5 to 3 billion total.
Yeah, I said some stuff last night I might want to take back, but I just felt like that slow beginning of the film might hurt repeat viewing, and I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to beat Infinity War. It'll probably beat Infinity War. I don't know if it's going to beat Avatar. I'd love it to beat Avatar because I just thoroughly dislike that movie.
Same here.
God, I don't understand how that made.
Thank you. I get into fights with Anna all the time because she loves it. I'm like, no, it's not good.
I agree with you. I'm not a fan of it either. I've seen it like once, and that was enough. That was completely enough.
If I wanted to see, Pocahontas, I'd watch Pocahontas.
Yes.
If I wanted to see a movie about the environment, guess what? Fern Gully did it better.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's funny. There's a great video compilation of it's the Fern Gully visuals set to the Avatar audio from the trailer.
Oh, that
matches up almost perfectly.
That's ridiculous.
And it's beautiful. And of course, you get Batty in it as well. And Batty is just amazing and fantastic. But yeah, I think that this film is going to make bank because it's just doing bonkers everywhere. And yeah, it's a 3-hour runtime. And many people thought that could hurt it. But that's why Disney has a machine now, has so many 3D showings, has so many IMAX showings, has it in almost I think a record number of theaters domestically. I would assume also internationally as well. So it's going to make a crap ton of money. It's likely going to get to 1.5 billion by next weekend.
And that's worldwide, right?
So, worldwide. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
So let's see. Box Office Mojo saying that Infinity War made 2 billion. I figured if everybody loved that movie, they're probably going to go see the sequel to it. So at the very minimum, if it doesn't break 2 billion, I will be very surprised.
Oh yeah, it's got to break 2 billion.
Yeah, for sure.
It does.
So I agree with what you said, Odin. It's either going to be 2.5 or 3 billion.
Yeah. And again, obviously we'll know more after this weekend, and because the first 2 weekends are usually the most telling, because obviously you look to that week 1 to week 2 drop off, but also most films tend to make around between 50 and 60% of their entire total in the first 2 weeks of their showing, and very rare exception to that rule. So if this film has reached 1.5 billion by next weekend or more, it's well on pace to get close to 3 billion, which is why I put the 2.5 to 3 billion. So yeah, it's gonna do insane.
Well, at this point, from foreign sales, we're already looking at 300 million just from foreign.
I know alone, it's gonna make a crap ton.
Avengers Endgame set for global domination. Can it deliver a 300 million domestic debut? Disney is reporting matinees for Avengers Endgame are currently tracking toward a 140 plus million opening day. Whoa.
Yep.
Including last night's 60 million from previews,
which is a record.
Oh, as a result, the studio is cautiously projecting a 3-day opening in the $300 million range.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this is coming from a guy that wasn't a fan of the movie, but I still acknowledge reality, and most people like it. And most people are going to see it a second time and going to see it this weekend or next weekend. And because of that, it's going to make money. And I would rather this film be the record holder than frickin' Avatar. That I can tell you. I would much rather this film be a record holder than Avatar.
Yes. That's why I'm rooting like hell for it.
Yeah.
Like hell, because dethrone that Avatar. I wonder if we're ever going to get those 19 sequels.
We are. Oh yeah,
Oh,
we're getting
that's right.
2 next year. So we're getting Avatar 2 next year, and then it's a movie every year. So we're getting Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they're all going to come out a year apart from each other.
So they're actually still going to do this.
Oh, aren't you excited?
No.
Aren't you excited? They've already spent, I believe they've said they're going to spend close to $1 billion on, I think, the first, if not first and second film.
When did that movie come out? I mean, like a decade ago at this point?
Oh, yeah. The first Avatar must have been... Let's see. Avatar 1 came out 2009. Yeah, so 10 years.
Yeah.
God.
And it made $2.7 billion. And it's because it made $2 billion foreign. So basically, I would say Endgame has a pretty good chance of making it close to 800 million domestically. Obviously, you could make more, it could make a little bit less, but if it gets around 800 there, it would need to make around 2 billion foreign to match it. Yeah, it's insane. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. That is some cheddar.
That is some cheddar right there.
Lee Johnson, $5 super chat. I love this super chat. I love all super chats, but this is great. Can we get a 15-year ban on prequels and origin stories and just tell good stories?
Yes.
Just tell the past in a flashback scene or a single TV episode. Lee Johnson. Disney owns ABC. They can do origin stories in a little half-hour, 45-minute show that would make them millions, maybe billions. If they did a Captain America origin on TV and then had it lead into a movie, I mean, I think these are the things we were expecting when Disney bought ABC and all these things. I thought we were going to get this big connected television Marvel universe.
No, they so fucked that up.
It's the future, though. It's definitely the future.
It is.
Yeah.
And it was Kevin Feige and Perlmutter couldn't get along. And that's where the TV got screwed up, and that's why there was no Daredevil and Luke Cage in that melee in the end, which, they definitely hinted at a long time ago. And I'm kind of bummed about that.
Well, Disney Plus is coming up, and also there's now rumors that since Disney already owns over 60% of stake in Hulu, there's now confirmation, or at least speculation, that Disney is going to try and buy out Comcast stock.
Oh, fuck.
Which means that they would own roughly 80 to 90%. And as I'm predicting, I think that when they eventually take it over completely, that they'll have their adult content there and family content on Disney Plus, or alternately, use it for its, what's it called? Not intellectual property, but technology. Like buy it for the the patents and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then transfer that over to the service, and then hopefully they'll have adult content. Like I would love for them to bring Daredevil back. Don't know if they will, but
I think they will, and I think they'll bring back Charlie Cox. They have to wait 2 years, but man, that sucks. Daredevil was good.
So
yeah,
good.
it was.
The
other series were trash though.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
David
would
Tennant
say
was good.
Punisher season 1 was good, was decent.
Yep.
Season 2 went off on a cliff.
Yeah, big time. that was the thing, is it seems like all the first seasons were really good, but it's when they started really kind of working in the wokitude, like Jessica Jones season 2 was it was very apparent they hated men.
Oh, it was very abysmal.
Apparent.
And we're getting a 3. We're still getting a season 3.
Yay.
That is going to be the last, from what I remember, that's going to be the last of the Marvel Netflix shows, because I think it was still contracted. And I'm looking forward to tearing it apart, but God, I don't want to have to watch it.
Well, the thing that sucks about it is Bernthal did such a great job as the Punisher.
Oh, yes.
And they so fucked him. Why is it so hard to do a Punisher series? It was really, they should just called it Frank Castle. That's
it seemed like they sabotaged to me. It looked like there was some sabotage going on, and then for Netflix to cancel one on when another one would premiere, like they would cancel when Daredevil premiered, they canceled Luke Cage.
I think they did that intentionally. It was a
that was intentional. I think it was a definite sabotage going on there, and
Jessica Jones being the last of the series. Definitely intentional there, because gotta have that. But I agree with a couple people in the chat. Colleen Wing was amazing.
She was
in Iron Fist, not Iron.
No, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Sorry, I don't know why I was like Iron Fist. But yes,
she
Iron
was
Fist.
awesome.
And then as far as like favorite characters, she was my favorite characters. And then let's talk about the unsung hero of the Daredevil franchise, freaking Kingpin, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio, that is the role of his career.
That was arguably that was the best Marvel villain. The second best being David Tennant as the Purple Man, basically.
Yeah, and, the only one that made season 1 of Jessica Jones bearable was him as Kilgrave.
Yep. By the way, they showed a Good Omens trailer in the theater last night. That looks so damn good. It's a Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman book starring David Tennant, and it's about it's the end of the world, basically. Watch the trailer. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's good, fantastic. Aiden McGurr, £5. Hey Gary, missed the Endgame stream last night because I was sleeping. Loved Endgame, all great except girl power bit and Captain Marvel saving Tony nitpicks. Yeah, I've got nitpicks, but I overall really enjoyed it. And I'll probably watch it one more time, and I will purchase it. I don't actually purchase every single Marvel movie. I only buy things I know I'm going to watch. It's because I don't know, buying physical media used to be a very bad habit of mine, and I would just have tons of shit still in the plastic, and I'm like, okay, why am I buying this?
Here's my shelf of shame behind me of all of the purchases that I've made.
Yes. Hey, it's also something that you should do, though, even if you might watch it someday, and that's not a shelf of shame. It's a smart shelf now because streaming.
No, who was this Doomcock that said that buy physical media because you never know when they might yank it?
That was me.
That was you? Okay.
Their iTunes yanked some movies that people had purchased. That article was, and they've done it a couple times because they lost rights to it.
Holy
shit. If you have the old like Voodoo, which is the old Ultraviolet, if Sony loses the rights to some movie, it's gone. Even though that's why it's good to download it. But even if you download it, you have to play it on their thing. So I don't know.
That's why Movies Anywhere has been pretty cool because it puts it all together in one place. But yeah, I prefer not only that, because also physical media is better quality too.
Yep.
And so I've been trying to watch it though, because I used to just buy basically there's this awesome app called My Blu-ray, and it shows you all the deals on Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, and it was like my crack. Like seriously, I was on it every day, and I was like, $5? $5 for a movie? I'm gonna buy it, even though I kind of like it.
$5 for a movie? That's a deal, sir.
That's quite a deal right there. I need to get that deal right there. And then, of course, Black Friday was always Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
So I gotta ask you, man, what was your first DVD?
Oh gosh, see, that's a harder one because obviously my family's had DVDs, and I, adopted a lot of those. But I can say that my favorite Blu-ray is my Back to the Future 35th Anniversary Edition set, for sure.
My very first DVD was bought by my girlfriend at the time. It was, I guess she picked it up on Black Friday, and it's SLC Punk, and I still have it. I backed the sequel.
My first DVD was something like Austin Powers.
I love the way you said that too.
Austin Powers. Yeah. I can't read something like that. It was either that. No, it was like right when it was really. Shut up. It was early on. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm old.
Got my
So there is no pleasing you.
There's no pleasing. I love gold.
I love gold. The taste of it, the feel of it. But my latest Blu-ray was actually a gift sent to me, and it's a guy named Bruce on my channel. He sent me a movie called The Naked Prey. I've never seen it before. But what's cool about it is this is Criterion Collection, which means it ain't cheap. And so I was like, oh my God, dude, thank you for sending it to me.
I'm trying to open this Blu-ray thing here while you guys are talking, and I'm not being very subtle about it. I'm getting sent some cool stuff that I've never seen too, and I've got to review it. So thank goodness for the PO box.
I know, right? Someone sent me Akira as well because I've never seen it, and so now I have it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you mentioning that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Akira is awesome. Unfortunately,
that's what I've heard. I can't wait to watch it.
You gotta watch the original dub they did from back in the 80s because they redubbed it in the late 90s, early 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one the Blu-ray has, but they usually on Blu-rays have multiple copies. So
okay.
So I had sold this when Jody became the Doctor, I got a little pissed, and this room, I've told you so. This room used to be entirely Doctor Who. Like everything was Doctor Who. Every inch of it was Doctor Who. And all these figures were like left over from the comic store and stuff, and in boxes and storage. And I kind of sold off a couple things from my immense Doctor Who collection. And one thing I always regretted selling was this, and I just got it back. And it was not cheap.
My God.
Why would you sell that off?
Well, just because I had them all digitally. What I had done is I burned all the Blu-rays, so I have them all. And I know how to burn Blu-rays off my Mac, so I can make physical media all day long. Yeah. I can make my own cases and everything. So I'm like, I burned them, and I was pissed. And like at the time, I think I sold it for like a freaking $1,000 or something like that. It was crazy. I didn't have to buy it for $1,000, thank God. I found a great deal on eBay, but it was still so this has the sonic screwdriver. It's a 50th anniversary edition, and these things aren't easy to find in America. As a matter of fact, you can't get region 1 Doctor Who Blu-rays for the earlier seasons right now.
Oh wow!
Or you can, but they're like $80 a piece or something like that.
So are you gonna take the sonic screwdriver out and play with it?
You bet your ass I will. It's a remote control. It's a TV remote. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I love that thing, and yeah, but it was the one present to myself. But God, I'm trying to remember my first Blu-ray or my first DVD. I have no idea. I know what my first Blu-ray was because it came with my. I bought it with a PS. Was it a PlayStation 3? And they were offering Talladega Nights, came free with it. That was my first Blu-ray. Was Talladega Nights.
Damn, I don't even know if I've actually purchased a Blu-ray.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
What? They're beautiful, man.
I'm trying to remember like the last actual DVD I purchased.
Well, for any deal hunters out there, you can get Howard the Duck for $5 on Blu-ray right now.
No way.
On Amazon, yeah. And you can get the Alien 4K transfer for $15 on Amazon right now. So little
4K is a little disappointing sometimes. Sometimes it's
you
really good.
check the transfer, because sometimes
yeah.
the transfer is actually 1080p and they're selling you trash.
Well, some of your 1080p transfers are actually 1080i because they can't fit it on the disc.
Which is another reason why so I wish I was sponsored by them, but I'm not. My Blu-ray is a great app because you can see what other people are saying, and there's votes on the quality of the images of the sound, and it tells you what's good about it, what's bad about it. So yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And Jason Barry, it's called My Movies. So he asked about the name of the app.
It seems like older movies may not transfer well. I guess I don't know.
You got to remaster them, and it's Robert Meyer Burnett. He's a YouTuber. He worked on the I got to get him on the channel. He's a co-host with John Campea, but don't hold that against him. He's pretty cool. He's very anti Star Trek Discovery, so he's in our camp. So he worked on the remaster of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and he talked about like how much of a pain in the ass it is, and that's why you don't get a lot of remasters out there that are done well. And honestly, you know the story, Comix Division, but Odin might not. So I used to work for Technicolor. I was a pre-mastering technician, so I used to be the last line of defense for burning DVDs. I would build menus, I would compress. And so I worked with Disney and Paramount. And I worked on Game of Thrones season 1, True Blood seasons 1, 2, and 3. Sucker Punch, just a ton of movies. But we would burn them, Odin. We would burn the master copy on Nero. On a pirated
burning ROM.
Pirated version of Nero. The first rule when you got there was do not update the Nero program because it's a pirated version.
That is fucking hilarious.
Fucking
dude, that thing, it's like $90, dude. They couldn't spring for $90 to buy Nero burning ROM.
Oh my god.
That's
the master of all things.
I even bought my own copy. Holy fuck.
Lord.
I held one of the master copies of it was a tape. It's like this big digital tape of Thor, the first Thor movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was cool. In the vault, because I worked right next to the vault.
Oh man.
Yeah, do you get to see the masters and all that stuff? But dude, like I had to you had to walk through a metal detector and get frisked to go pee at that place.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Oh man.
All right. Thank you, Ada McGurr. It's good to see you. Richard, wife is $5. Cap returned all the stones to their places, but that means he would have met the skull again, right? Yeah, we just talked about that. And that would have been nice to see.
Mm-hmm. But also, too, how do you return the stone? Like, to get the stone, you have to sacrifice someone. Do you get someone back?
Maybe you have to masturbate to put the soul stone. I don't know. You have to. I'm just thinking of a cheap way. Maybe you have to maybe that's why he had to get back together with Agent Carter. He had to bring a life into the world. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know why, but I have a feeling that the interaction between Red Skull and Cap would be, he Melvined me.
Yeah, that would be so
yes. Speaking of things, I'm looking so forward to Bill and Ted 3. Finally,
yes, which they mentioned in the film, which they mentioned in Endgame. They did. Guam Tech, $5. Did you notice they did the same thing to Thor? Oh, I already read that they did in Spider-Verse. What? God,
yeah,
dang it!
You did read that.
I did. Bear, thank you again. $5. Bear, $1. No donation. Thank you. Laura Ryan stole my fan fiction story. $2. I loved Rogue One, just because the ghost is flying around. Yes, from Rebels.
Oh
Rebels.
yeah,
It's in
yeah,
the
yeah.
background.
I saw that. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, I love Rebels, and the fact that they also had Hera being paged was pretty cool.
The droid was in it too in the background.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's right. Chopper was in it.
Chopper. Yeah. Tech guy, $2. Who goes up a sky portal when Soulstone is gotten? Oh yeah, that's okay. So when you return, that's what you asked. So when you return the Soulstone, like what happens? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And Kalia Traveler was saying that she thought that the only reason why he was there was to guide people to the stone. If the stone is not there, does that mean that he no longer is present?
Yeah, is his spirit basically like dormant, and then when somebody shows up, he has to learn his speech?
I
Was
want to
there?
know how the fuck did he get stuck there?
Oh,
Cosmic Cube.
the cosmic cube basic well yeah I don't know it's a form of punishment, so somebody had to punish him, some celestial or something had to punish him. He talks about it a little bit.
Yeah, because he even says he's not actually the Red Skull anymore. He's something different, like he's something more almost, and so they never really go into that. Would be nice
it would have been nice.
They did a couple of those in Game of Thrones this last weekend where Tyrion is sitting down with Brandon, and he's also, tell me your story, and he could have told the whole story, and they cut scene.
Yep.
And then when Jamie's when he says to Jamie, when Bran says to Jamie, how do you know there's going to be a tomorrow or something like that? And then they cut the scene. I'm like, that's they did a couple things that just
had to make time for that Arya Stark sex scene.
Side boob, had to have side boob.
Gotta have it.
This is my problem when it comes to the gratuitous nudity of the HBO stuff. Is they cut out plot.
Well, here's the deal: when they did sex stuff, especially with the little finger, he's like monologuing over it, and it makes sense. Okay, there's a whole scene where excuse me, Odin, he's talking about little butt play with the two girls in season 3 or 4, but he's also talking about like having power and empowering, working with your enemies, like teaching her a lesson while she's teaching the other one a lesson. And it like kind of made sense. I know it's weird. There's a great divide over this Arya thing, the sex scene. It's like it totally can exist. She's 22. I get it. I'm just saying, for me personally, I fast forwarded through it because I'm 50. So like 10 years ago was a minute. Okay. It doesn't feel like 10 years ago. So to me, I still see that little kid. So I'm like, of course she's a full grown woman and she can get naked all she wants and she's liberated and great.
It's unnecessary too. It's unnecessary.
It wasn't.
I'm so tired of this nonstop, narrative that in order for someone, especially usually women, to be free and to be adults, sex control, like that has to be the thing. I don't understand it.
It wasn't a necessary scene. They could have really insinuated she got laid with the second scene where because they went back and they show her laying in the bed. You could have just done that.
Yeah.
And that's
same impact.
But
that's the thing. It's like, I am by no means a prude, but
me neither.
Nudity should be,
but
make sense why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. It should serve the purpose of the story, not just to show titties. Well, if I want to just say titties, I'll go to Pornhub.
See, I'm going to bring this up till the end of time because they're rushing the last 2 seasons and they're telling us they don't have time for stuff. It's like, well, you did a lot of dicking around, especially in season 6, tons of it that you didn't need to do. But hey, the ratings, this is another great example of normies and hardcore people being dipped out. The hardcore book fans, if they are watching, they are just watching to get some form of resolution because they might not get it in the books. But I'd say a large majority of them are just like not into the show anymore. The book fans, there's a big split. Now, there was a time when I think there was a lot of kumbaya, like the first 3 or 4 seasons, there was book fans and show fans. And now it's straight up just a show for show fans. And I highly recommend you read the books. The books are great. They're fantastic. I love them. But I'm gonna watch it all the way through, and I'm looking forward to the battle. I'm looking forward to the battle next week.
After 2 long episodes of exposition, after several years
Yep.
of exposition.
Yep. Well, hey, listen, my review video, that's the first video I will say, I think it's just not getting recommended by YouTube at all. And it's my original title was Arya Got Naked because I thought it'd be all clever. And you put naked in your title, poof, man,
Bam!
get about it.
Demonetized.
And
Dude, you put SJW in your title, you get demonetized these days.
yeah, you do. And by the way, because of metadata, you can change your title all day long, but your original title is the title that they are going to base the recommendations on. So it doesn't matter. Might as well re-upload your video at that point. I'm just mark it off as a loss, but if anybody wants to share that one, that'd be really great. BPP TV, $2. Why did they waste the Hulk? We talked about that earlier. I think okay, I'll just come out and say it. I think they didn't they felt probably there was too much masculinity. I don't know why else would you waste the Hulk? They even talk about it with the Hulk smashing and everything. He's all, I'm thinking it's too much. And the more I think about it, and you brought it up, Odin, I'm like, I'm starting to think, yeah, they didn't want to show that much masculinity on the screen.
I can't disagree with that. Though I thought the scene was kind of funny when he did that.
Oh yeah, I mean there were definitely some funny things that happened with it, but then after a while you're kind of like, all right, I'm kind of tired of this. How do I describe it? I'm blanking right now.
Hipster Hulk?
Hipster Hulk. Thank you. Like why? Like I was getting a little bit tired of Hipster Hulk.
Yeah, because Professor Hulk in the Infinity Gauntlet and Hulk in the Infinity Gauntlet does take some cracks at Thanos. Okay, so I'm really as a storytelling, they blew it. They dropped the ball because they set up the whole narrative for the Hulk in Infinity War was he had performance anxiety, basically.
Yeah.
And your payoff was they just got back together. Okay. They still didn't fight Thanos. He still didn't overcome that.
Rhaegar Targaryen says Hulk turned into Varys.
Yeah. Yes, he did. And the only jokes Tyrion can tell anymore are about Varys's balls. Australian $10. My 4 daughters, who are 12, 14, 16, and 18, rolled their eyes like, ugh, when the A4 scene came up. If they can see through the wokeness, there is hope for all of our daughters. There is, Justin Poor. That's like I said before, when I heard the booing and the hissing for the Star Wars trailer and the non-cheering for Captain Marvel, it engaged my hope for humanity. And I do think this stuff is turning around. It's just not happening as fast as we'd like.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to take a couple of years to cycle through Hollywood anyway. And we've talked about that.
I don't know, man. It's the areas where I'm getting concerned is if it really seeps into mainstream politics as well, which it's trying to do. That also scares me because if they start passing laws around this shit, we're fucked.
They already are in Europe.
Yep, exactly. You'll get exactly what's going on in the UK, where you have the literal thought police showing up at your door.
And that's why it is important to talk about it in entertainment, because if you can draw the line here, then it won't go over there. Exactly. So I think I would say that's motivation behind a lot of channels, folks. I'm not going out on a limb and saying that. It really isn't just about the films. Charles Lane, $5. I really have no interest in seeing Endgame again. I was bored. That was my honest gut reaction. Captain Marvel is OP. It gave the writers a lazy out. It really did.
Yeah.
And I still think it was forced on them. But still. Yeah. And I think her getting punched with the Power Stone, I think that might have been a little message from the writers. Like, we don't want to do this, but I could be wrong. Justin Poor, Australian, $10. I'd like to see. I wonder if that. I'm sorry, Justin. I wonder if that was one of the reshot scenes of her getting punched.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be. That will be.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a merged one. I'd like to see a merged movie, one cut of Infinity War and Endgame together with full continuity. Mix in Ant-Man 2 post scene and Hawkeye family scene at Snap. That would be a great way to watch it. It kind of would. If you chip out a couple of little scenes that weren't necessary, I'd be for that.
Yeah, one of the scenes I complained the most about was the one where they're at the cafe and the kids were wanting to get the picture with Professor Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that dragged. That whole thing could have been fucking cut.
That improv scene, yeah, that was
yeah, it felt pretty improv.
Yeah, that was an improv scene.
Yeah. Also at the end between Chris Pratt and Hemsworth, that felt pretty improv too.
Are you holding up okay, Odin? I know it's
yeah.
late for you. Okay, because I mean, like, if you guys get tired, man, there's no obligation here.
I'm in for the bitter
I don't
end.
want to keep you up. Okay.
It's the weekend. The wife's out of town, so.
Oh, where's she at?
I don't have a bedtime tonight. She's at a what's it called? Not bachelorette. Yeah, bachelorette party weekend.
Oh. You're not keeping an eye on that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Knowing the social anxiety that runs in this household, no, I'm not worried at all.
Wait till you become an old couple. Then we start joking about cheating. It's like, yeah, go ahead. Rock on, brother. She'd break you. Good luck. Yeah. Justin Poor. Yeah, that's okay. Father Christopher Miller. Hello, Father. I need a young priest and an old priest. No. 199. Hooray for Brie. Ex Machina. Heavy sarcasm. Timothy Wilson gives 2 super chats. And Timothy says, and like, Timothy, you're right, but I'm not going to apologize for it. Thank you for the $2, which is $4. You're being overcritical. It's a flawed masterpiece. And that's what I called it in my first review. Basically, it's a imperfect classic because of the ending of the MCU, because it managed to close the book on the MCU without being a giant turd, in my opinion. But we nerds are, yes, we are completely overcritical.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty as charged.
Sometimes cynical.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You need critics, man, because you can't pretend like everything's fucking perfect. We need to know what the flaws are so you can make things better.
Exactly right. And that's why, as I always try and say, if you like a movie, hey, perfect. I don't want to ruin the fun that you had with a movie, but since part of what I do is break down movies and try and find what's good and what's bad from, narrative perspectives, more, objective mindsets. I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I do.
And that's what makes your channel go. That's why people go to your channel. That's why I go to your channel. That's why I subscribed to your channel. I subscribed to your channel before I knew you.
And that's why people unsubscribe to this channel too.
Yes.
That's why people unsubscribe and then they resubscribe.
And then they resubscribe and then
It's because the beard draws them in.
It does. And my dogs too. I had someone who said during one of my videos about the unsubs, they said, I only sub because your dogs looked great.
Your dogs look hungry. No, I'm just kidding. Do what it takes to get subs. No, yeah, I definitely one of the first time I lost subs in a while was the Game of Thrones video.
Yeah.
God, it wasn't super bad, but like my initial reaction for The Last Jedi, I got a lot of hate before because I Googled around to see if it was really, SJW or not. I didn't see anything. It wasn't until afterwards where I started finding out about what happened behind the scenes and whatnot. But my initial reaction is, this is a shitty movie. Yeah, it has some woke moments, but it just comes off as progressive and not SJW. And holy fucking shit, I got nailed for it pretty badly.
What a horrible take. I just
God, that's so offensive, man. Seriously.
So offensive.
Yeah.
God.
But no, I get that. I mean, like, I thought Captain Marvel was I don't know if it It was straight up intersectional feminism.
Oh, it
and
was. It was.
completely filled with agenda. And there's people who were just to this day arguing me, no, it was just a mediocre movie. It wasn't that. You're seeing things. You're seeing ghosts. I'm like,
Oh, no, man. Just some guy has a video that talks about that, where it's a Twitter post from a feminist who basically lays out everything I just said. So it's not just me.
oh yeah, I totally. I'm when the digital copy comes out, I will sit through it again and I'll do a breakdown like I do with STD. I'll show it all. It's all there. It'll be very easy. Justin Kavak, Australian $10. But surely you cannot cross the time streams. The whole idea of a time stream is that it is separate and distinct. That's the whole point of a multiverse. Each universe is its own discrete bubble. Yeah. And if you do, you just create another time stream. String theory, right? Isn't that string theory? Isn't that Michio Kaku stuff?
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know too much about string theory.
Yeah, science, physics, man. Yeah.
I just know when you start getting into quantum physics, it turns into magic.
Yeah.
Space magic, like Thor said. That's the way I see it.
Space magic.
Fun fact, did you know that if a tree falls in the middle of the woods and no one's around to hear it,
Nobody cares.
the tree doesn't exist?
The tree doesn't exist because it was not observed.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it, like a squirrel saw it. But does it have to be a conscious being observe it? Is the squirrel conscious? Is a squirrel a squirrel?
What is consciousness? What is life?
What if a squirrel calls itself an elephant?
In the words of the great philosopher Derek Zoolander, who am I? I don't know.
I was reading the Googly.
Googly.
I'm bulimic. You can read minds.
Or maybe you didn't think that I was a good Googleizer.
Googleizer. That was it. Yeah. I freaking love Zoolander, man. Jitterbug. You know, gas on each other. It's a great movie. It really is. Especially when you are married to somebody in the hair and beauty industry. Their little cabal. Remember their little cabal in that movie, and they're all in the shadows, and it's supposed to be like the Illuminati of fashion. And Melissa knew who every one of them was. She was like, "That's so and so. That's so and so. That's so and so." I'm like, really?
Oh my goodness,
you're really nerd into this stuff. And everybody. That's when I realized like everybody's a nerd for something. Mm-hmm. It's just like sports fans are just nerds. Mm-hmm. Who beat each other up when they lose. Hey, I used to
write and flip cars and burn shit.
Oh yeah,
even when they win, they do that now.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh hey, there would have been a time if this would have mean the universe would have ended. But if the San Diego Chargers ever won a Super Bowl, I probably would have wept tears of joy. But not going to happen now. Fuck Dean Spanos. Cleve Bourbon, $5. Man, I wish Captain Pike were there. He could withstand the gauntlet. He could stand next to it, exploded torpedo. I know, Cleve, right? He's on the other side of a door when a antimatter torpedo goes off, blowing out the front half of the Enterprise dish, but he's behind a door and he's fine.
What?
Fucking stupid show.
I have to watch this show just to see how many brain cells I can murder.
I will say, it took me a good month before I realized that Michael Burnham was a female. Because I'd never seen the show, and I kept watching your videos, and you kept talking about Michael Burnham, and I was like, "Who's this Michael Burnham?" And then all of a sudden, you talked about the actress from Walking Dead, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the first sign that the show was going to be woke, is the fact that they named the chick Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, and to Odin's a good Christian soldier. So at the end of season 2, we find out Michael Burnham is in a Red Angel time. So it's a time suit, and because of the mechanisms, it looks like an angel. So it was named the Red Angel suit. Well, it was actually invented by Michael's mom, whose name is Gabriel. So it's two women named Michael and Gabriel who are angels, and that's where, and because they travel through time and possibly go to the past, that's where religion came from. So basically, Michael, so she's basically the goddess of the universe. Yeah.
they
I feel like Picard right now.
fucked
Yep.
Trek up
So-
so badly.
And do your people on the inside, is it getting canceled? Is
So,
there a
I
chance?
guess I could talk. It's in the title. Oh no, I took it out of the title, but I'll talk. So, real quick.
Let it Brie, man. Let it Brie. Okay.
I know, man. So I lost my train of thought there. If you haven't watched Star Trek Discovery, you know what? Get the week free trial and watch one episode, because I don't think as good as Doomcock is and Midnight's Edge and and Anti-Trekker and however good I am and Mecha Random, we still, as good as those YouTubers are, it still does not convey how bad this show is. It has to be seen, unfortunately. And I know I'm giving it clicks and views, but I think if the more people realize like how incredibly retarded this show is, and that's not a word I drop very much, but it's retarded. It's really dumb. And it's funny. Watch Doomcock's part 1 review of the last episode, and there's a part where he's describing the show and he just starts laughing, and it's a genuine laughter, and he goes on and he starts laughing like a good laugh. It's funny. It's so bad. It is The Room. It is getting that bad where it is almost enjoyable to watch because it's so bad. So,
you must be kidding, aren't you?
yeah.
What the story?
hi,
What
Mark.
the story, Gary?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. I was talking to a guy at oh God, was it? It was one of the I was trying to close out my retirement account from Tesla, and his name was Mark. I'm all, oh hi, Mark, and he didn't get it. I was all, never mind.
Oh no! Oh, that's so sad. Have you ever gone to the screenings and met Tommy?
No.
I've met him 3 times.
I've heard he's really nice.
He's hilarious.
What is he? Is he just like crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just like
Everything you see on the screen, that's him. I did not hit her. I did not.
I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I want to see The Disaster Artist. That's a movie.
Oh
I
my
need to see.
God, it's good. It's so good. The book is even better.
I didn't realize it was based off a book.
Mm-hmm. Greg Sestero, Testosterone, wrote the book.
Man, okay, there's no such thing as a story without plot holes. Play Bourbon. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but the number of plot holes.
Nothing is going to be perfect.
No,
I completely agree
But
with that.
Star Trek
Yeah.
Discovery is a plot singularity. It's bad. Laura Rianne stole my fan fiction story for $2. Gary, do you mind? What is that tat on your hand? Well, I got to take off my wedding ring. Hang on. So I have little Doctor Who action there, and this is did I get stuck on? Oh, I got stuck on you, Odin. Sorry. That's my wife's nickname, Mel, and that's my nickname, Beak. And then this is from Boondock Saints, one of my favorite movies of all time.
yes, love it. What do you watch every St. Patrick's Day?
Boondock Saints, or
Right
or the sequel, or both. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. So you watch Boondock Saints on St. Patrick's Day, and then on All Saints Day you watch the sequel.
Oh, see, I'm not that religious, so I'll know how to do that.
What was the what you know what the movie's called?
All Saints Day? Yeah.
All Saints Day.
But I didn't. I mean, again, it doesn't really register.
I got you.
Religion probably should, but
November 1st, the day after Halloween.
when is it's the day? Oh, it's okay. See, I didn't even know what day it is. So there you go. So that'll start to be a tradition.
Boom.
What is the name of the? Hang on. What is the name of the documentary about the making of the Boondock Saints? That actually got the movie popular in the first place.
Oh my God, I didn't even know there was.
Oh crap. Okay. So the director of that movie went insane.
Yeah.
Like it just went to his head. So he was a bouncer and he wrote a script and it turned into like the hottest script in the world, and all this shit went to his head, and these documentary filmmakers went to make basically a fluff piece about like the making of this movie, and they watched this guy's descent into, I mean, not insanity, more assholeness. Like shit went to his head, and he even admits this later now. And the documentary is as good as Boondock Saints, and I'm blanking on the name of it now. Hang on, I'll look it up. Documentary.
I had no idea there was even a documentary about it.
Yeah, this is how I heard of it. And it was when I was working at the warehouse at the video store. My manager, Doug, Overnight, the Troy Duffy story. Definitely watch it. Okay. Overnight. And it is, Overnight 2003, the trailer. I wasn't working at the video store. My friend Doug told me about it, who used to be my manager at the warehouse. It must be where we were just hanging out or something like that. And
looks like it's on YouTube. Nope.
Yeah. So Overnight was kind of popular before the Boondock Saints was. And here it is. Here's the poster for it. It's a fantastic look at success going to people's heads. And honestly, I like Troy Duffy. He just kind of turned into a dick for a little while, but he got it together to get made a classic. And honestly, I like the second one as well. The funny thing about the second one, Odin, my wife and I saw it here in San Francisco. She was the only girl in a packed theater.
I bet.
Wow.
Only vagina.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe is a god in that movie.
Fuck yeah. Oh.
So great.
I
There's
love
so many great parts.
I loved him in Shadow of the Vampire.
Oh, yes. Oh, he was so good in that.
He played the vampire.
It's like straight up method. So
yeah.
Straight up.
That dude, talk about people who deserve an Oscar. That dude right there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's your Joker. He's been your Joker forever. He would have been the best Joker and probably could have been Joker for multiple films.
Dude, they should bring him back to be the next Green Goblin again. Holy crap. Yeah. Norman Osborn, he is.
Bring back J.K. Simmons. Bring back him as Norman Osborn. Crap, you could bring back what's his face as Harry Osborn. He was fine.
James Franco.
Hey, Franco. The only really good scene in Spider-Man 3, there's a couple good scenes, is when he screws over Peter. He's all, "This is the best pie I've ever tasted." You know, that was a good scene. That was, you know.
Well, there's the dude that played Sandman was fantastic. That was, to me, was like the only compelling character in that movie was the Sandman.
I will stand by this because somebody brought this up in a stream. Peter David's novelization is good. There's a good story in there that they completely fucked up. Judacon, just like Star Wars The Last Jedi, there will be negative changes of opinion about Endgame. Too many time travel paradox contradictions. My score B-. I think that's fair score. I think that's a real fair score.
Me personally, I give it a 6.5 to 7 out of 10.
I'm higher than I gave it a B+ because it gave me my big melee fight at the end. If it didn't do that, I'd probably be crapping all over it. But my opinion will probably wane as time goes on because it waned when I saw it the second time. And I'm really. This is why I made, and I know this is why you made videos, and I know this is why both of you made videos. We made videos. Of course, we make them to get clicks, but no YouTuber, I believe, that I know, okay, in our little group makes shit up or isn't authentic with their anger or disgust or just irritation with something.
Right.
You have to actually feel passionate. I think you, the viewers out there, are very smart. You can sniff that crap out like that.
That's why I don't do scripts.
Yeah, I don't either.
I get home, I see what's in the news. If I see a movie, as soon as I finish the movie, I hit record because I want to get my honest, raw thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm about half and half. Sometimes I script, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's plenty of times it's like, if I'm making an argument, I need to think it through. And sometimes the best way of doing that is to script it. But time is also a factor. And it's like the last couple of my videos have not been scripted. I just haven't had the time to write anything out.
Yeah. I think that if I was ever going to do like an in-depth view on a film, I would absolutely have to script it because you have to try and cover certain points. And it's a lot harder to do that just off the top of your head. But yeah, that's why I do most of my stuff is just raw reaction.
That 100% of mine is. The only thing I write down when I do TV recaps is change of
Notes.
scene.
Hmm.
That's it. I don't even like put my opinion anywhere. I'll write like Cyborg walks into room.
You don't write love letters to Michael Burnham?
Micah Burnham, I love you. You are so perfect you don't even poop.
Yas Queen, slay
Yas Queen, slay.
The poop just teleports away.
Yeah, here's my here's inside nerdrotic, everybody. Deep inside nerdrotic.
No.
So
Yeah, here are my notes for Doom Patrol, and it's just like Cliff and Rita in Florida. You know, that's
I want you to write. I want you to take notes for the next STD, but I want it to be just raw thought, and I want it to be like, God damn.
F this. Oh, well, okay. The funny, you might have seen this. I was getting a little annoyed with the gay Larry scenes in Doom Patrol, and I just kept writing gay Larry stuff right here. Gay Larry stuff. I was like, okay, I get it. He's gay and he's upset that he lost his boyfriend from 60 years ago. And he's gay. Okay, I got it.
Is that all there is to that character?
That's all there is to that character. He's gay and he misses his boyfriend.
But that's the thing that I find so funny is that to SJWs, that's good enough.
Well, forget the fact that he had a wife. Okay, fine. He doesn't care about the wife, but he had 2 kids with the wife. Doesn't talk about them at all, but misses his boyfriend.
Because gay.
And then when he finally meets his boyfriend said, dude, you didn't get over me, jerk. And I love how they put it in the film. He's like, you haven't got laid since JFK, loser. It was as bad as Doctor Who fans is Bill saying she's a lesbian 3 times an episode. It's like, I get it.
Reminds me of Brie Larson. I don't hate white dudes. I mean, I don't hate white dudes.
You know, it's pretty funny. Probably one of the most offensive things you could do to a gay SJW is tell them you don't care that they're gay.
That's my identity. Why don't you care? It's like, just be you. Just be you. If you're gonna be you, great. If you're gonna tell me who you are and preach to me, no thank you.
Well, the whole thing is to normalize in their terms gay and however
Gary, I'm straight. Gary, no, I'm straight.
I'm straight.
Gary, I'm straight. Gary, I'm married. Okay, Gary, I'm straight and I'm married. Do you get it? You see how it just doesn't really work?
It doesn't really work. And the thing is,
I'm a potted plant.
I'm an attack helicopter. So when it gets normalized, that means people don't bring it up anymore. It's normal. It's we've come a long way, baby, and it pretty much is there. And I think there's I think the vast majority of them are very relieved that it's getting normalized and it doesn't get brought up all the time. It's actually a minority, a very vocal minority that has to say that all the time because maybe they haven't come to terms with it in their head or whatever. But I know a lot of them, and they don't walk around saying they're gay every 3 seconds.
No,
it's just the thing because it's normalized now, at least here, and that's fine. And that way, it's just now I can get up and go to work and not worry about having to get my ass kicked or dragged behind a truck because it's not 1960 or 70 anymore. And great, but when you're constantly doing it, it's just so it's obvious pandering by people who, I mean, like you just brought up, Odin, when Brie had to bring up 3 times in the same speech she doesn't like white dudes, she clearly doesn't like white dudes, and there's a reason behind that, and I think it's because her dad left or something. I'm not sure, and I don't care, but yeah, it's just obvious pandering, and it doesn't really help anything.
Yeah, and someone in the chat said it right, where if you identify yourself, and I say this all the time, if you identify yourself by just one part of who you are, you isolate yourself from other people.
Absolutely.
And I always say, we're like puzzle pieces, and your sexual identity, your gender, those are just one part of the puzzle. And if you identify yourself as just one puzzle piece, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to connect with anyone else unless they have that same exact puzzle piece.
But that's the thing. That's where these people are going, though. It's like the whole thing with, we have a black lead, we have to have a black director. And it's like, why would you want to limit yourself?
Shang-Chi.
It's
I mean, that's
yeah.
what they're doing for Shang-Chi. Oh,
I know.
we have to have an Asian director. We have to have an Asian director.
It's stupid. Even the whole thing that what's his name said about never casting a white lead. It's like, why would you want to limit yourself, dude? It's like you're just gonna be known as a black director.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, not a director who happens to be black. It's like if you want to do that, hey man, do you, man. You do you, but you're limiting yourself. And you're not gonna get as far as you think by doing that. You think you're being progressive and you thinking you're trying to make a difference and give opportunity to people, but in reality, I think you're hurting your cause.
You are, and especially if it's like I don't know, a white guy handing a shield to a black guy, that makes it look like that the white guy's validating the black guy.
Yeah,
that to me is kind of racist. I think it's just, and I know that's not what they meant, but that's how it could be taken. Certainly.
Well, I know Eglinton has made the argument too. It's like, at this point you have, Falcon standing in the shadow of a white man. It's like, let him be his own character.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's been his own character for decades.
Yeah.
And he's done it well. Anthony Mackie's done great with the Falcon. I mean, like Falcon is a boring ass character. Okay. He's boring. He's boring in the books and he's not in the MCU because of Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
So,
Did you hear about that new thing? I don't remember what she was teaching, but she said that treating people equally is dangerous.
What?
Yes.
Who said this?
Oh, okay. Justin Roiland was commenting on it, and there was like this huge explosion. If you pull up the Bounding into Comics article, you can get more information on it. But yes, there is this professor. She said that treating people equally is dangerous. This is where we're at in 2019.
March 12th, 2019. And I'm not going to pull up the article because it's political. Boston U says it is dangerous for white people to treat everyone equally.
God.
Isn't that insane? Fucking insane.
So my oldest kid, I don't talk about this publicly, but my oldest kid is smart enough to get into a university.
That's
very much so. But he's not going to.
That's also good.
Yep. I hate to say this on the old man's advice.
That's good.
Not unless he can find one that aligns with him politically, which is pretty center. And
good luck.
No, he's not going. He's taking a different path, and good for him. But yeah, I think there's a lot of parents that need to have that. There's a lot of parents. Parents are busy these days, so I don't mean to listen. I'm one of them, and it's hard to, have both parents working jobs and keep it as good an eye on your kid as we should. That's probably. I wish I had more time to watch my kid. I'm thankful I have what I do, but we really need to make time as parents to start questioning curriculum and what the hell's going on in our schools. And if we don't do that, so I could start a channel on my kid on Everett Junior High here in San Francisco. Holy crap!
Well, just also
that's the reason why it's so dangerous with schools, because it's indoctrination. It's not about teaching you how to think anymore. It's about indoctrinating you.
No,
and that's the thing that is so fucking scary. It's like, yes, the progressive left is only 8% of the population currently. It could go up.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a creative writing and a creative art class, these are electives that you're supposed to be creating a story. And my kid wants to write about the Teen Titans and stuff and the Doom Patrol and Wally West Flash. He's absolutely obsessed with Wally West Flash. And, my kid's on the spectrum. So when he gets obsessed into something, it's deeply, deeply obsessed. And they're forcing him to write a story about racism. Yeah, that's creative writing, but you have to write it about racism, and it has to be about. Well, it's not even that. It's I'm forgetting the name of it. It's the unconscious racism that some people say we all have.
Microaggressions.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's the unconscious bias is what they say it is.
Yeah,
but
privilege.
The thing that they don't tell you, and this is an anthropological thing, is that we all have it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is true, but it's not just white people that have unconscious bias. We feel more comfortable when we're around people that are like us. That's just human nature. It's not a white person thing. It's not a black person thing. It is humans in general. We're cliquish.
Humans are cliquish.
If
for
you want
sure.
to, I mean, as a high school teacher, I can tell you there, it's so interesting how segregation seems like such a long gone concept. And yet in high school,
Here it
it
is.
still happens by choice.
By choice.
And it's kind of sad to see it, because it just, it has an image and it's just not the image I personally like seeing.
Yeah.
No, and we're regressing back into that.
That's
Yeah.
the thing I can't believe, it's like, where did we go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck did we go wrong in society?
We
that this
got
is
too
happening?
affluent and we stopped paying attention. And well, because we're busy. We're busy.
I think affluent is one thing, is that humans we're constantly looking for conflict. And since we are in a place where life is better, we're inventing it. We're looking for it.
Yeah, but we're also lazy and we're also not paying attention because it's hard. And and like I count myself as one, and we're not paying attention to the politicians, and because we're also busy. There's busy, but we're also busy on our phones, busy on social media. Maybe we should be taking the time to read and I'm saying I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I'm not saying I'm above this or below it, but reading your entire contract when you buy a house, reading your entire ballot, like we all should do it. We're all not gonna. I'm not gonna. But I mean, listen, I read every contract, every word of my contract when I buy something. I do when I buy a car, when I buy a house. And it's usually really bad. But do I read the entire vote ballot? No. And but I won't vote on something I don't know anything about.
Exactly. I will only vote on things that I understand and I have an actual thought one way or the other on a ballot measure. But no, it is interesting how you talk about, not reading things before anything. And that's why one of the favorite test experiences from even when I was younger was on a test at the very beginning. They give instructions, and the opening instruction was flip to the last page, sign your name, and turn it in. And more than half of the students failed because they didn't read the instructions.
Yep.
And it's so interesting. And actually there's a school that I might soon have an affiliation with. So obviously I can only say so much, but one of their policies is they actually allow their guys, their students, to be on their phones between classes during lunch. And I'm coming from a place where we don't do that. And so it's going to be very, very hard for me to transition over to that very laxity, because I understand, and I'm sure they do too, just how damaging this device here can be.
Yeah.
Even for me, even as an adult, I know how addicting this can be. And
Yeah. Back to the super chats, folks. Back to the Endgame. That was a tough transition there.
We're fucked, folks.
We're all doomed.
We're all screwed. Can Thanos come back, please? Australian $2 time remnants, i.e. explained by the Flash. Thank you, Justin Poor. I appreciate the donation. Thomas Nicholson, $5. One man's plot holes is another man's open-ended plot holes that could be resolved at in a later movie. In my opinion, of course. Keep up the great work. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And yes, I think a clever director would maybe even use somebody else's plot holes to make themselves look extremely clever and fix something in their own film. I would do that all the time. If I was part of a franchise, I would play with somebody else's plot holes. That would be fun.
I've heard that about you, Gary. Playing with
I like to play with plot holes.
Peter
Davison, Australian $2. Karma precedes time travel. It does. It's all around us. It does. Karma will kick you in the balls in the past, in the present, or in the future. Heroic Avenger 96. That is the one force in the universe I truly 100% believe in. Who dishes it out? I don't know, but or it's just a great balance. I don't know, but it's real.
The force, Gary. It's the Force.
It's the midichlorians, I tell you.
Midichlorians.
It's
Heroic.
heroin.
That would explain a lot, actually.
The
Heroic-
midichlorians, Anakin, it's heroin. We all get high. And then we get the munchies. And we send out for burritos.
That's not from, well, you get kind of hungry on, I don't know. Yeah. Heroic Avenger 96, $5. Favorite moment is the credits. Silvestri score at the end was phenomenal, along with the sequence for the OGs. For me, felt like a final end of the MCU. Yeah, they very Star Trek 6. Very Star Trek 6 at the end there. You know what? That's I don't mean to crush on your or to destroy your moment, Heroic Avenger 96. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying Alan Silvestri makes some of the most forgettable scores I've ever heard. He's good. He's solid. He's not bad. He's just not John Williams and Jerry Goldsmith and, all the others.
The main Avengers theme, I would say, is pretty.
Yeah,
there are
that. Yeah.
Yes, there
Absolutely.
they've gotten so much better. Like, so it used to be, I mean, I'm talking prior to the MCU. Like everybody loves Danny Elfman. I love Danny Elfman when he was in Oingo Boingo. Honestly, not the biggest fan of his soundtrack work anymore because it's not really melodic. It's a lot of beats, repeated beats. He doesn't, his Batman theme is very good, but you compare that to John Williams' Superman theme. And I know you're comparing like a god to a demigod, but still, I grew up with John Williams, which when he was in his prime, was the best. Best.
You want to know what my obscure favorite John Williams score is?
What's that?
Hook. I love the score from Hook.
I've only heard pieces of it on like his best of stuff, and it's not bad. I mean, I didn't like Hook, but you're right, it's not bad.
It reminds me of my childhood, so I just soft place in my heart for it.
Man, it's been a while since I've seen that movie. I don't even remember the score anymore.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out, we were like, whoa, that is Steven Spielberg. What? And yeah. But I mean, Silvestri can be good. I think one of the most underrated he works in TV. There's two people that work in TV that are very underrated. Now I can't say the guy who does Game of Thrones. It's Ramin something or other. He's really good.
Yeah, he also did the theme for Westworld, which is also a great theme.
Sorry, I'm typing at the same time. And and that was the biggest change for Doctor Who as well, as they got rid of Murray. And he was freaking brilliant, so brilliant. And Murray Gold. And he doesn't get enough work either. And his work on Doctor Who was like right up there with like just old John Williams and stuff, very bombastic and great. Silvestri is like solid. He's solid. And the Captain, isn't the Avengers theme just the Captain America theme kind of reworked a little bit?
Not sure.
I always thought it was. I love First Avenger. I know a lot of people don't. It's like
I like it, man. I really like that movie.
Yeah, I dig that movie.
I'm not a fan of it. Personally.
I'll
tell you the one thing that gets me with that film is the jumping off the giant CGI tank. So bad. That's like the one image that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, that was the movie that made me like Captain America.
Winter Soldier for me, man. Winter Soldier is a damn near
Winter
perfect
Soldier
film.
is damn, yeah, that and Guardians are the best.
That's a damn near perfect movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
That opening sequence on the ship, holy crap. The fight sequences alone are fantastic.
Okay, when we start talking about movies I feel are a masterpiece, that's one of them.
Yeah, the three best Marvel movies are, I mean, in any order: Avengers, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Iron Man. And
I know you don't like it, but I do. Ragnarok's on my list.
Ragnarok's okay. I mean, I don't like Valkyrie.
I can't stand that movie.
Yeah,
there's parts in it I like, but
I also like Valkyrie.
You like what?
I know, right? I
like-
know, right?
I like
annoyed
Tessa
the
Thompson.
shit
Did
out
I
of
just
Westworld
subvert
season
your
one.
expectations? Yeah.
Totally does. Heroic. Okay, Justin Poor, Australian $5. Captain Marvel should have come to the MCU during Age of Ultron. Agreed.
Yeah,
Allowing t-
absolutely. I that's one of the things I said that they should have done with her is introduce her earlier on, casting someone better than Brie Larson. I know that you want Katie Sackhoff. I prefer Catherine Whitnick. I think she would make a fantastic Captain Marvel, and she's charismatic.
I don't know who that is.
She plays she's in the TV shows Vikings. Lagatha. She plays Lagatha in Vikings.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she'd be all right. Allowing time to bond with team, get ass whipped, plus have would have got a better actor choice. Yeah, you show her lose a couple times with the Avengers, become part of the team. She didn't fit, and they had. Did you see her in the funeral? She was off standing by herself
Yes,
on the
she was.
stairs.
I saw that.
Above everybody except for Nick Fury.
I saw that.
Richard Wetfuss, $5. What if, since Cap was living back in time, he decided to save Stark's dad from getting killed by Bucky, and then he turned and helped Bucky himself? But he didn't help him in that timeline because Bucky was still standing there. And I mean, Richard Whitefuss, you bring up What If. That is supposedly one of the TV shows that's coming to the Disney streaming network that I would definitely watch and be excited about.
Well, that's the thing too. I don't think that they're doing the multiverse thing particularly with that. I think that is supposed to be their Captain America from that universe.
Or they just weren't following their own rules.
Yeah,
that was Captain. They basically pulled a Doctor Who. Doctor Who did that stuff all the time, especially Stephen Moffat. That was he was really famous for playing with time like that. He had Amy. There's a whole episode where Amy is left waiting in a waiting room of a hospital, basically, and she has to become like this warrior fighting off the nurse robots that went bad. And she had been there for 30 years, and the doctor was gone for like a minute. He did that crap all the time. So yeah, they borrowed from Doctor Who, but didn't use the same rules. Thomas Nicholson, The Girl Who Waited, by the way. It's pretty good episode. $5. What happened when a toad is struck by lightning? It croaks. See, Joss Whedon, that wasn't so difficult to write. Even Thomas can do it.
Also, I saw a comment asking where was Lady Sif, and Lady Sif is dead. She died.
More accurately, the actress had a falling out with the studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yep.
I liked her as Sif. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And she was also doing that tattoo TV show.
Yes.
Yeah. I like her.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Lady Sif a lot. They killed all those people in Ragnarok. That was one way to get rid of the cast. The Grand Inquisitor, $5. Hail, Gary. Could you please give our boy Odie some beard grooming advice? Recommend some good balms or oils, and maybe lend him a comb. He's got some stuff, Grand Inquisitor.
I'd say I just got a wooden comb, so I finally have upgraded that game. And I just don't really like the oils that much because I don't like rubbing my beard and having oil on my hand. So
that's why you wash it off, man.
Yeah, it's called soap.
But don't you leave the oil in?
Don't use as much.
You do this, you just get a little bit on your hands, and then you go like that, like this, and then you get out. You go to New Mexico, and for $2.98, you can get one of these.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just comb your beard, and the oil, and it makes it all nice and straight and clean. And I'll show you how. But you got to use the wooden comb though. You got to use the wooden comb.
Yeah.
It took me a couple of years to figure that out.
Show me
a beard that was like, look at my old videos. I got a beard that's like, whoosh, like flying up this way, and it took me a minute to figure it out. So
Tina says beard talk now
Yes.
on YouTube.
Next on beard.
Oh, Comix Division has the biggest beard. His beard is like past his genitalia, but he won't show
I
himself
got
on
a
screen.
big old spike, man. It's nothing but a long ass goatee.
I was gonna make a joke. Yeah, you got a beard. It's your wife.
That hurts me, Gary. That hurts me. You wound me so much.
Oh, hi, Mock.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Let's go back up here. Blah, blah. What happens when it okay. Leslie Russell, $2, says the Hulk is the strongest. Hulk the end proves it. Leslie, yes, the Hulk is not only the strong. World War Hulk proves it. When Civil War was going to happen, Reed Richards in the comics kind of sniffed out that some shit was about to go down. So he tricked the Hulk into a spaceship and shoots him off into space so he doesn't get involved in the conflict and tip the scales. And his spaceship was supposed to take him to a nice, peaceful planet. Of course, something bad happened, and he ended up on Planet Hulk. And after Planet Hulk, there's World War Hulk.
Because he was pissed.
He was pissed. And he came back and he was going to smash everybody. And everybody couldn't stop him. The Silver Surfer couldn't stop him. Doctor Strange couldn't stop him because Hulk is the strongest. Because what they failed to mention in the MCU, and this comes and goes in the comic books, he gets stronger the more pissed he gets. There is no limit to his strength. So
wasn't it you saying on a bunch of streams that you would argue that Silver Surfer is one of the strongest beings?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Galactus imbued his power into him. Galactus is practically a god, like a Titan, demigod. And Galactus is a force of nature.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Silver Surfer is his herald. He cannot die. You cannot penetrate his skin. He mentally controls his board. He's got these like energy blasts that come out of his hands that could vaporize Captain Marvel in a second. Yeah.
And yet Hulk can, match up with him, but not so much. And
well, he's got the untapped well of anger. And that's the reason why. Yeah, as Gary said, the angrier he gets, the stronger he becomes. So
part of a power that people don't think about a lot is durability. And now you gamers love that stuff, right? Durability. You can take an ass whooping. Well, that's the special part about Wolverine and Captain America. It's not that they're particularly strong. They can both sit there and take an ass whooping for days and not stop. So they can just wear their opponent out a lot of times. And Captain America that's why Sam Wilson, your Captain America could take a beating. He can't beat certain heroes, but he can take a beating from them, from certain villains. So Sam Wilson can't because he's a human being.
Well, that's one thing too. The very first series that he was in, that was like my complaint. It was like, dude, it's Falcon getting his ass beat all the time, and that's the thing. Yeah, he's a normal dude.
He's a normal dude. A good dude, but a normal dude.
Yeah, a good dude, but a normal dude.
Yep.
I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. Because we're all dudes. Hey.
Oh my lord. Okay. Trolly McTrollface said $1. Thank you.
Is that like Bodie McBoatface?
Yes. Aiden McGurr, 10 pounds. They focused on Natasha's ass and front after Scott's that's America's ass. I expected them to say that about her ass, and then they didn't. It was weird because the camera focused on her areas.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I didn't. So thank you.
He's an ass man.
That's that Rodney Dangerfield joke, right? I must be an ass man because everybody's coming up saying you're an ass man. No respect.
No respect. I was actually doing a wrestling fan. Anyone?
Old wrestling, not new.
Billy Gunn.
No, I don't know that.
Degeneration X.
No. I mean, old wrestling.
That's it's a little after my time.
1980s. Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
WWF.
Actually,
Mr. Wonderful, Orndorff, Roddy Piper.
Oh, so you're old school WWF,
1.
probably going into NWA, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm like
Hulk Hogan.
Kind of.
We got some people in the chat. Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass Billy Gunn, that was his name, but his theme song was literally "I'm an ass man."
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, that's
Grand,
you right there.
That's me. I'm an ass man. Grand Inquisitor, $5. We are the mouse. Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own. Resistance is futile.
Oh, that was a great comment.
Yes, that is
So,
true.
so Dr. Meatball, Mikey Spock confronts Galactus, convinces him to become a vegan. They kind of already had something like that happened in the Squirrel Girl comic where she confronts Galactus and spouts something about toxic masculinity or some shit. I'm being serious, man. This is actually in a comic book someplace. It's pretty dreadful.
Dreadful. Jack Random with the random super chat, $2. Not sci-fi. Wrecked. TBS canceled. Funny show. Rest in peace. That sucks. Sorry to hear. I've never heard of it, but sorry to hear your show got canceled. That always, you invest some time and they don't give you resolution, and you know. Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't sci-fi because the Sci-Fi Network loves to cancel shows. Richard Wetfuss, $2. Sir, so Boromir is the blockbuster of Soulstones? Yes. It is. It is. And if you're late, you got to pay a fee. I think it's just limbs at that point. You don't have to actually die. Twin, $5. If Cap got back together with the love of his life, does that mean he was creeping on his own grandchild in the earlier movies? Yeah, maybe.
No, different timeline.
Different timeline.
Mm-hmm. That's how they, again, that's the answer to everything. Different timeline. No, it's all good.
So it's a different Cap. Mr. Roboto, $2. Endgame should have ended with Ant-Man in the mouth.
Oh, dude, you got to read like your latest comment, your latest super chat. This is fucking great.
I can't have it step on the one I was reading. Hang on.
Okay.
Mr. Roboto, $2. Endgame should have ended with Ant-Man in the mouth. Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. Okay. What do we going here? $5. Carol went to the funeral dressed like she was prepared to lose an election.
Brilliant, sir.
Brilliant.
And she did.
Yeah. That is funny.
But she won the unpopular vote.
Oh, well, yes, she is the least popular person.
Yes, if we took a vote right now, Carol Danvers would by far be the least popular.
Opinionated uploads, $2. Off topic. Thanos is effing beast, bruh. He was. Yeah. I'm still thinking about. I have a 1/6 scale Thanos in the throne that I've never taken out of the box, and I just missed like the best opportunity to sell it. It's always better to sell it before the movie than after, so I'll probably just keep it. Mr. Roboto, $2. Gray Hulk, sip brandy, and hangs out in Vegas. Mr. Fix It, Mr. Roboto, that would be nice to see someday, and I think we will. I think that'll probably be the next thing if they want to, unless they want to have Hulk taking selfies and just sitting around.
Yeah, they would need to do the Gray Hulk, Mr. Fix It. That would be great.
Sean C, $5. Benioff and Weiss are immune to criticism from the mainstream media. Just look at how well received season 6 and season 7 of Game of Thrones are. They are perfect employees for Lucasfilm, aren't they? Yeah. Thankfully, there are small groups of people who, very small because not a lot of people watch that video, that agree with me. There's also a guy out there who's kind of led the way on not being a fan of Dan and Dave. His name is Preston Jacobs. He just is a Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones YouTuber. That's pretty much all. He does Westworld, I think, a little bit. He's on the forefront of that stuff, but mostly, yeah, I get a lot of shit for criticizing Game of Thrones.
I would have liked to have seen their Confederacy series that they were kind of like dreaming up, and that got a lot of controversy around it.
Yeah, and it's just like The Man in the High Castle, except
exactly. But oh my god,
you know what? I actually wouldn't. I know why people shouldn't freak out, but I mean, seeing it now, it would just be, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always like alternate history stuff. That's why I like Man in the High Castle and whatnot. And it's interesting to see what happens when the bad guy is winning, because I think in some ways it makes us appreciate what we actually do have.
I think there might be a time you could make that. This is not that time.
You're probably right, man.
Yeah, I think it would just stoke things, if anything.
Probably.
And yeah, plus Benioff and Weiss, people are going to come around on that.
Are they hacks? I mean, I've never watched Game of Thrones, so
the writing certainly has gone. I don't know, Odin, you're a fan of the Game of Thrones. What do you think of the stuff lately?
Again, I think that the earlier stuff is better, but I still think that they have a lot of potential. They do some things very well, and so I can't just completely write them off. So I think that it depends on what material they're given and how much help they're given. Because if they are given good material and some help, they can do great things in adapting stories. So,
yeah, I think they're very good at adapting. I think that's where they shine. And the thing is, though, they're very good at adapting what they're interested in. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in George's books they're not interested in, and they clearly tried to force some into the show, and it didn't work, and you could tell they weren't interested, like the sand snakes and stuff. They also, what the reason I like Game of Thrones is not, I mean, I like the possibility of dragons, and we're certainly going to get the payoff, but that wasn't the reason I liked it. I liked it because it was fantasy that was believable. The politicking was very good. There was a time to wrap that up, though, and they let it go way too long. But the most important thing to Game of Thrones was character and dialogue, and they've lost both of that now with Tyrion in particular. Tyrion has been a complete dumbass in the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, and they decided to chop out a giant part of his journey to Meereen from the book, where he has some of his best victories. Tyrion's the ultimate survivor. He is this little person in a horrific world that when these people are born, they usually just throw them off a cliff. Where women are R to the A to the P to the E to the D at will, because it's the Middle Ages, and he survives it well because this mind they keep talking about in the TV show is a survivor's mind, because he's had to do it from day one. So that's why it's like just a perfectly exercised muscle. He's had to, everything is survival, down to his father possibly wanting to kill him from day one. His sister, the only person protecting him is his brother, who's not really protecting him all the time. And then he gets screwed over by his only protector. I mean, screwed over hard. So, and then he gets sold into slavery, and it's I can't explain how much they've left out, like how awesome Tyrion is, and they blew it.
Well, also too, I mean, you can tell in the early seasons that they quote a lot from the books, because I've read the first book at the very least, and one of my favorite lines in the book, and I'm glad they kept it in the series, is Tyrion at the fire going on his way to the wall, and he says that the book to the mind is as the sword is to the whetstone. And I was just like, freaking brilliant line.
That's a good line.
It's a great line. And I just honestly, at that moment, that's when I fell in love with Tyrion Lannister. I was like, this dude right here. And again, I think it's because they used a lot of the same dialogue. They used a lot of the same parts from the books. And then, as you said, as it goes on, they start using less and less, going on their own. And that's when you start to see a dip in writing. Eventually George leaves, and season 7. So,
yeah. And that is the whatever was behind that. And I think it was Winds of Winter not coming out, which is a damn shame. There was a definite rift, and the show suffered from it, which is too damn bad.
And I guess one more thing to defend with Benioff and Weiss is that I'm pretty sure they played a pretty, I don't know, obviously there's casting directors, but they probably played a pretty good role in casting the show. And I think they did an excellent job casting the show. So,
yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite Tyrion quotes. I was just wanting to make sure I get it right. It's not as profound as that one. It's just something I identify with. Is I have a tender spot in my heart for cripples, bastards, and broken things. I really
That's
do.
a great line.
I do. All right, so let's get back to the super chats. My. There's still Gary got that daddy energy. I do. Diversity in Comic Bear. It's an energy that you have to find deep in your heart because there's long periods of time you don't have to sleep. And then there's like when you have kids, there's this constant worry that's always there. That's something they don't give you in the handbook when you get it. When you get your kid handbook, when it pops out of your wife's vajayjay, you get a handbook that comes with it, and it says in page 72, there's a constant worry that's on a level. It's like it depends. When they get older, you worry a little less, but it's always there and it never goes away. Yeah, that thing. But yeah, I got dead energy. I do. Opinionated uploads, $5. I sent you an email of the Daily Mail crusading against the injustice of the lack of screen time for female characters in Endgame Part 1. Are you? I got to make a video about that. It's the Daily Mail. God, the Daily Mail is so goddamn good for
Oh yeah,
material.
that
really is.
Did you see the one I sent you today?
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. Well, I mean, if we have time, we're kind of running out of time, but we'll see if we have time. But I did. That was great.
Fucking BuzzFeed, man. Fucking
BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed again.
Buzzkill.
Endless treasure trove of material.
Yes, it
Opinionated uploads for $10. Part 2, yet failing to include Gamora, who is a female and alien. Also, Sam Jackson, he had the least amount of time, and Vision wasn't even in the movie. Hashtag fake activism. Hashtag prickles pandering pussy point puppets.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Well, that's the thing about Vision. He's dead.
He's dead. Opinionated uploads, $2. By the way, good evening, guys. Good evening to you, opinionated uploads. Thank you so much. Stun Soul, $2. No mid or end credit scene marks the end of the MCU. It does. It really does. And I question that. You just got the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchise. You could have given us a visual reference without putting anything on screen. A 4 somewhere, like a number 4. How hard was that?
Yeah.
How about
they have no fucking clue what they're doing at this point.
How about they get to the battlefield and they're pulling out the PIM van with the quantum realm. Say another weird thing happens. Say that the tow truck drops the van too hard and it kicks in the quantum drive and a piece of clothing flies out and half of it says 4 on it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Or how about just Deadpool comes flying out?
Or Deadpool comes flying out with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's got one finger up his own butt or something like that because it's Deadpool. I don't know.
While he's eating a chimichanga.
No, if you bring out if you would have done that with that little piece of clothing with a half, you don't even have to put a full 4 on there, half a 4 with a little circle around it. Everybody would have lost their goddamn ever-loving minds.
Yes, absolutely.
Including myself. But I knew there wasn't any credit scene, so I bolted.
I stuck all the way to the very end.
Opinionated uploads, $5. Okay, opinionated. Okay. Fret not, Odin. I too hither for thou Valkyrie, bruh. LOL.
Thank you, good sir.
Good sir, bruh.
Bruh.
Diversity in Comics Bear, $9.99. Did you talk about how Mark Hamill riled up the NPCs for sharing a Photoshop picture of everyone reunited on the Falcon? He tweeted it that it was a missed opportunity. He was scolded. He was scolded for that.
Deleted it and then retweeted it with a message.
What was the message?
Someone had sent it to me earlier.
Eat a bag of dicks, you jackasses.
Yeah.
Basically like I wasn't trying to do anything by this. Nonsense.
Fucking Mark.
Come on, Mark.
Yeah, he says, saw a pic of me. Yeah, so he put this out at 8:30. Saw a pic of me, Billy D, Carrison, and Harry. Posted it because I miss them. Nothing more, nothing less. I love the new cast too, and didn't mean to get everyone's knickers in a twist. Maybe I should have just posted a bunch of Endgame spoilers instead.
Good for you know what?
That definitely comes off as a fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what?
Because the original one, which is still up, is just hashtag missed opportunities, and it's the picture.
Not that these goddamn everybody and his mother is live streaming. So thank you for choosing us. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notifications. I never get mine. So whatever. Yeah, Mark, somebody in Hollywood, keep your tweets up. Just keep your fucking tweets up.
And don't apologize.
And don't apologize.
Don't apologize.
And you know what? The easiest way to do that is after you tweet that thing, just walk away from Twitter for like 2 days or a day. I do that sometimes. And yeah, you miss some comments, but honestly, the tweet stays. The thing works itself out eventually. And if it doesn't, who cares? You're Mark fucking Hamill. Who cares what they think? It was a missed opportunity. I'm glad he said that. I think a lot of us have been saying that since 2015. So since you killed Han Solo.
Yep, pretty much.
But you're also like, if I had a YouTube channel in 1983, I would make 1,000 videos on how Han Solo didn't pilot the Millennium Falcon in Return of the Jedi. That pissed me off.
Really?
So bad. Yes. Like he couldn't have piloted it for like 5 minutes from somewhere to somewhere. It's his horse. Okay. It's like the Lone Ranger not being on, silver the last. Yeah. You got to have Han Solo piloting the Millennium Falcon in the final movie just for a minute.
He had important shit to do, man. Come on.
No, what? Fight with the teddy bears? No. He had to fly the Millennium Falcon. He could have flown it to Endor. I mean, it's fine that Lando was in it at the end. I have no problem with that, but he should have been in the Millennium Falcon for a little bit in that freaking movie. Dumb.
I know what you're talking about, dude. I get it. Hang on, let me let my dog out. He's whining.
Oh, I heard.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Harry Pancake. I don't want pancakes now for some reason. $5. So how does this affect Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm assuming Cap and Peggy whooped some Hydra ass in the past. Different timeline.
Yep.
Like Odin says. No, yep. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now a completely different universe than the MCU. They allude to it once in a while, but they will not cross over, and that has to do with the Feige Perlmutter fiasco from a few years back.
And you would say that Agent Carter's a good show?
I would say that was a good show. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. very much. Mm-hmm. I like the first season and the second, how that tied into Winter Soldier. That was great. And I own that season because it's tied into Winter Soldier and it really works. But then the fight between Feige and Perlmutter happened and it all went to shit. Mm-hmm. Carol went to the funeral dressed like she was prepared to lose. Okay, and I already read that, but it's worth reading twice. Justin Poor, Australian $2. Are you doing a review of Cobra Kai season 2? It was great. Yes, on Nerd Erotic Live, I did a review of the first episode. Not spoiler free. I spoiled the hell out of it.
So good.
I will be doing a season 2 review tomorrow or Sunday on Nerd Erotic Live, and yes, it's excellent.
I'm about 2 episodes away from the end, and I'm loving it. Fun story about the first season. I watched the finale first and thought it was a great opening episode. And then I realized, there's more.
Yeah.
What series was this?
Cobra Kai. So the way that it's set up on the Google TV service is that the last episode is the first thing up. And I thought it was the first episode, and then it would be going down logically. And so I played it, and I was like, "Oh, that was really good." And then I was like, "Oh, what's next?" Oh, wait a minute, I watched the last episode first, And so I rewatched it all. I'm like, oh, it's so okay. Now all the characters make more sense, but still great. So didn't make that mistake this time. So
God, what show did I do that with? I did that with the show we were covering. I can't remember. I started with the second episode and I'm like, I feel like I missed something. And then I watched the first episode and it wasn't a great show. I'm like, I didn't miss very much. I could have just watched. I could have gone from there. I can't remember what show it was.
that's a good show, though. You have a good show when even in a later episode, you have everything that you need to enjoy it. You know?
Oh, that's a show for this age for sure.
Yes.
Opinionated uploads. Our last super chat here. $2. Is it me or did Thor not fly at all in Endgame?
Well, no, he didn't. It's because he doesn't have Mjolnir. That's how he flies.
But shouldn't he be able to fly with Stormbreaker as well?
He flew with Stormbreaker.
But he jumps. I mean, because I remember in Infinity War, he takes the Rainbow Bridge down, but after that, I think something allows him to use to operate the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah,
I want to say it was probably Stormbreaker.
In Infinity War, I'm not sure if he's flying. To be honest,
he doesn't fly in that movie, but yeah, he typically flies using Mjolnir. But I think with Stormbreaker, he has the ability to use the Rainbow Bridge instead.
No need to fly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Opinionated uploads. Nicholas Horton, £5. A post-credit scene could have featured a small glimpse of the Silver Surfer, i.e., Silver Surfer. A surfboard, a small glimpse of the Silver Surfboard, i.e., Silver Surfer, or better yet, just a silver streak across the sky. We would have gotten that, and like the coming of Galactus. Well, Kevin Feige has gone back and forth on Marvel many, many times. If you go back and look, he's changed the schedule. He's done a lot of shit. I've heard
there's to get an Inhumans movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, go back and look at some of the older things. There's titles that are changed and everything. So,
because initially it was supposed to be like Infinity War Part 1 and 2. I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he has spoken in the past about there not being a Phase 4. I did a podcast on this 2 years ago when he just went in an arc. I'm not sure we're going to have a Phase 4. Now he might have been just being coy.
He was coy with the whole Black Panther thing too.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think he's going to be. We'll find out. I'm wondering if they're going to be at Comic-Con this year. They might not. Marvel's like really fickle when it comes to Comic-Con. Marvel Comics didn't show up to Comic-Con for a decade. They just didn't show up. They felt that they were so arrogant. They were like, "We're there anyway. We don't need to pay to be there." That's freaking Marvel.
You see that where they got them?
That was before Disney.
Yeah, because that's all about D23 and all the Disney stuff.
Yep. So probably not. Modalicious, $5. Spoiler: Thanos Infinity Stone smacks Captain Gender Studies back into the kitchen. Kind of like the Ancient One smacks Bruce. Yeah. And you see, it goes back in the kitchen. Opinionated upload, $2. He's done. He says, "Night, bruz. Good night. Good night." Richard Wife is $5. Cap took the ether back to Asgard. Did he inject it into Betty? Jane or Betty, whatever.
Betty?
Betty, Captain Gender Studies.
No, that's beautiful.
That is a beautiful thing. All right, folks. It's getting late. Oh my God, it's almost 11. Wow.
Oh my God, it's almost 11. It's almost.
Oh my God, it's almost 1 where I am.
Oh, well, shit. Then let's stay up a couple more hours then. Screw it. No.
Yeah.
Odin, thanks for staying up so late in comics.
Oh man, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
God,
I take it we're in the same time zone. Oh, that's right. You're okay.
Yeah, Louisiana.
We are in the same time zone. Yeah. I'm in Texas, not too far away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lived in Texas for a few months during Katrina, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to, huh?
Yep.
Dallas, Houston, or San Antonio?
Houston.
Oh, right on.
We had Katrina people in a hotel near our house. It's kind of a famous goddamn Will Smith movie where he tried to win an Academy Award.
£7?
The other one takes place in San Francisco.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes. Okay. Pursuit of Happiness, and the mission
Where it's spelled with a Y. instead of an I.
Yes. So Mission Inn is where he stays. That is like
Okay.
2 blocks from my house. I'm driving home from the comic store one day, and there's Will Smith standing on the side of the freaking Mission. I'm like, and my friend Russell was in the car. I'm like, dude, that's Will Smith. He's all, shut up. Well, no, that's Will Smith. And I'm stopped in the middle of the road staring at Will Smith, and he's like on his phone. He looks at me kind of like, what the fuck are you looking at? And yeah. So yeah, but at that Mission Inn, that's where they housed a bunch of Katrina people there for like a year.
Yeah. Oh, it was insane because some people were houses, they were gone for that long. We got lucky because we only got about 6 or 7 inches of standing water in, which is enough where we had to gut the whole house. But there were some people that got 10 feet. So,
damn.
Yeah.
That's a natural disaster.
Yep.
Like a real one.
Yep.
Shitty. Sorry. Jane, not Betty, said, "Oh, Richard, you didn't have to put a super chat. It's all good." Thanks, man. With a black Captain America, I see no problem with the black Iron Man since Robert Downey Jr. can play dude disguised as another dude.
Yes.
Crossbreed Azure says that for $5. Thank you.
That's pretty great.
Opinionated uploads, $5 is not done yet. Professor Geek is always late for class. Worst teacher ever. Professor Geek is not the worst. He's at the best. I kind of want to find out where he teaches. Maybe my son can go there, but he said there's a bunch of woke people at his school. I don't know. How does he not get in trouble? Professor Geek, you out there, man? I know you watch sometimes. I watch you. He's probably live streaming with my mom and Englentine and everybody else. Okay, so guys, why don't we start with the Odin? Plug your channel, sir.
Well, first off, thank you very much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Of course.
Being on with you guys. So you can check me out over at the Odin's Movie Blog channel, www.youtube.com/Odin's Movie Blog. Also, I have a secondary channel for vlogs and live streams called Welcome to Asgard. So youtube.com/Welcome to Asgard. I will post the link to the main channel right now. So thank you so much for having me on once again.
But of course, and I look forward to having you on again soon. Okay.
Yes.
And
thank you, kind sir.
We definitely have to talk because I need a Streamlabs refresher.
Of course.
Before I go.
Of course, you've got it.
Thank you. Comix Division, plug your wares, sir.
He muted himself. God, he was just so
well. Lost your opportunity.
Yeah.
Unsub to Comix. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I'll take his time. He yields the floor to me. I'll take his time.
Take his time.
I will take the time and yield it to myself.
Do you have a Patreon to push, or?
Yes, I do also have Patreon as well. Same thing. Odin's Movie Blog. I also have Twitter. Odin's Movie Blog as well. Pretty much everything. Odin's Movie Blog, all one word. Yeah.
You have a website, right? Or are you working on the website?
I do have a website. It's a work in progress. I'm planning on the summer time to actually buy stuff. So let me go ahead and post that. So again, it's definitely a work in progress, but yeah, go check it out for yourself. And thank you to the patrons of the Nerdrotic channel.
Yes.
I take it we're doing the outro.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, dog issues.
Oh,
plug your wares, man.
Okay. Comix Division. You can find me on Google. On Google. When I say Google, I mean Gab. I'm tired, folks. Gab as well as Twitter. Just search for @Comix Division. And let me grab the link to my channel and I'll just paste it into the chat so you guys can go check that out.
The High Plains Drifter said I made him laugh so hard he woke people up. I'm gonna say I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry either.
No, don't ever apologize. Don't ever apologize. Hey, everybody in the chat, I'm sorry we couldn't get to you enough. We had a ton of super chats, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for all of you in the chat. Tina BB, it's great to see you in here. Stephanie B. God, poor Stephanie B got abused on Twitter. That pissed me off.
yeah, me too.
That fucking made me mad.
What happened?
Stephanie B, somebody called her an Uncle Tom on Twitter.
What the fuck?
You know what? Some people, I mean, like, listen, I'm not really for violence. We need to solve these things with words, but some people do need a good punch in the mouth once in a while. And just a light one, you know, no permanent injury, just a little, I don't know, pop. Especially when they you know, disrespect Stephanie B like that. I don't like that. So, and everybody in the chat, thank you so much. All of the patrons, please go to nerdrotic.com for the live stream schedule. Next live stream, I'll have the Nerdrotic Nooner Monday and Wednesday. I'm live with Dictor Van Doomcock Saturday or Sunday night with Game of Thrones. We got the big battle, so hopefully something happens.
Yeah, we hopefully have the big battle.
Yes. And yeah, we got to get you on that. We got to get you on the Game of Thrones one.
I will try my best. Work makes that difficult, especially with your late night streaming.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not sorry.
Not sorry. Don't be sorry, Gary. Come on.
Sorry. All right. Fine. Don't come on. Cool. I'll just get Anna. I'll get Anna. We can argue about Arya.
Get the woman who loves Avatar on your stream. Yeah, do that.
Oh.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I think I will. Just to push you. No, I love Anna. We love Anna.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
She is the best. And everybody have a great night. See you next time. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao, everybody.